Everything's going slow because it's cold. It is cold. That's crazy. Welcome. Hey guys, how are you guys doing? I'm getting everything fired up. Got a live show going on. Let me get Chuck coming in here. It's going to be a great night. Uh, do what? I got him sitting right in here. I just have to give him to you. All right. So, welcome to the Freedom to Learn movement. I'm going to bring on the boys here in just a minute. Man, Aaron's coming in. We got him popping in. Frank's popping in. Sorry for being so late tonight. We had some things going on with my daughter singing in front of the Rose Holman basketball team. It's kind of crazy. I didn't even know Rose Holman had a basketball team. What's up, Tiki? The Cavs are saying hi too. That's awesome. Tonight's going to be a great night. Hopefully, we'll have Chuck on here and Aaron Moneypenny, and we're going to discuss a topic that's been crazy. Like me and Frank was just talking about it. Me and Frank, are you there, Chuck? I'm waiting for the guys to come on. Chuck has to tune in. And Frank have it's like been a thing for years and years about hot shotting. I understand hot shotting. Before we ever even get into hot shotting, I'll put Frank up here in the stream. We just had the Tampa boot camp for people coming in. It was great, man. We had like 20 people there. It was really, really awesome. It was really cool. We had vendors come in and take people out to eat. And we had a lot of Okay. So Chuck's trying to figure out go on camera. I think Aaron's trying to figure out go on camera. So once those guys figure out how to go on camera and tune their camera into the app, we will have them on. But we're going to talk about a bunch of different things going on before that. Same as always. It's the same thing as always. We had the Tampa boot camp. Houston's coming up. What's up, Gary? What's up, Diego, Brenda, William, Tiki? We had a great mailbox money thing go on today in the group. That was really cool. We had all kinds of stuff going on at the boot camp, man. We had a shipper at the boot camp on Saturday. Really cool dude. So I got to actually do sales talk. The shipper agreed. He's a very large shipper. He's going to be doing lots of stuff here in the United States. And it was a power packed, man. We had guys with trucks, guys with trucking companies. We had old company drivers. We had dispatchers. People wanted to be brokers. They learned about how hard it really was, how much they didn't really know. We actually had a huge topic this weekend on the boot camps about I'm checking to see if the guys are calling. We actually had a bunch of huge topics about rate cons and making sure your information's in the rate cons, and all that good stuff like that is a lot. I know I've been working on the beard. Thank you, Debbie. We went we had we had it was just a really wild boot camp, man. We went to a restaurant and the partners take care of everybody there. Alicia's in the house. We have a lot going on. Tonight's a big night because every time I come back from a boot camp, I think of more and more stuff about carriers listening to people out there on the road and people in the industry and talking about like topics like brokers are controlling the rates, but a carrier is the one that controls the freight. Even though the brokers have the freight, you still have to deliver it. Topics about so many people jumping into the business, and by the time they figure out that they didn't have enough diversity, that they can't survive with their company trucks. Lots of stuff about hot shotting, lots of stuff about brokers not even understanding that for 6 months they won't be able to even use a factory company to give them credit to move freight, which is huge. And then the same thing is people paying for classes and webinars and just not knowing what's going on, or they're doing stuff, paying for stuff that they're not getting educated on because they can't even talk to anybody until they buy the product. Then after they buy the product, it's terrible. It's over with. They're already stuck. They bought a product. They don't have nothing to do. What's up, Josh? What's up, Matthew? And everybody's in the house tonight, man. Holy cow, Frank. So, so one of the big topics me and Frank get hit up all the time, we get messages, people send us messages, is hot shotting. And hot shotting, man, in the broker world, it takes twice to work. In the trucking world, it takes twice to work. Um, in the trucking world, it takes a lot of work. As soon as these guys are able to log in and get their camera rolling, we will have some people come in. What's up, Henry? The hot shotting world, I can explain hot shotting. I remember when we first met Aaron, Frank, and when we talked to Aaron, Aaron was starting out. He was like deadheading 300 miles. Oh, there he is. We're going to bring him in. Take this one out, put this one in. Told you got to get sophisticated there. Is your mic working?
Hey, Ernest.
What's up?
There he is. So tonight I was just getting geared up about all the stories about hot shotting because me and Frank bust hot shotters balls all the time. Half the people I talk to when they talk about hot shotting, I ask when it's going to work. Remember when we first talked? Whenever you're going to do it, what are you going to do next? How are you going to make money? What are you going to do if it fails? How are you going to get drivers to sleep in your truck? And then the difference between having a CDL and not having a CDL. You have so many people out there. Do customers want trucks without CDLs? Do they want trucks with CDLs? Is the weight a variable? There's only so many loads to work from, right?
Yeah, exactly, man. They should have a CDL. Customers should want people with a CDL because everybody else is screwing it up, trying to run this stuff, skipping weigh stations, not running numbers. You see all the guys on YouTube. There's a million of them doing it. I just seen
So,
one the other day. There was a guy on there talking about he was a non-CDL hotshot. He had a Facebook page and all that stuff and a big following on YouTube. And then he was like, oh, but he got busted because his trailer, whatever was over the weight, and he got pulled over and got impounded. And it was pretty funny. You hear him talking about it all the time.
so Frank, what do you think about Hot Shot before we introduced Aaron to the business?
Well, Aaron, I just have like one question because, I'm an older guy and everything like that, but when I'm out on the road and I talk to waiters, does it ever bother you? Does everybody ever say to you like, hey, dude, size matters? You know what I'm saying? We
That's
don't talk about,
terrible.
yeah, we don't talk about,
Yeah,
we don't talk about religion, politics, or sex here on the Shaggy and Frank Power Hour. But I gotta say, size matters.
Hey, I'm learning from Jay at Auto Transport Intel. See my cup?
Yeah.
nice plug.
See my shirt? Penny Evil Sizer?
Yeah.
That's thunder.
Yeah, I don't have any
So,
of that
yeah,
shit. That's why I don't say anything nice about them.
Chuck will be
That's
on
the
here.
first response you get when you start talking trucking, man. Everybody's like, get a real truck. Every time you say hot shot, they're like, okay, next.
Right, but before we can start
Hey,
talking, but hold on. Before we can start talking hot shotting and stuff, we need until Chuck figures out how to get the camera to work right. We got to do credibility. So here comes Chuck. Hopefully he'll pop in. He's popping. He's trying to get it to connect. We got to do credibility. Credibility is, when did you start? How many years ago?
Man, I've had a CDL for like, I don't even remember, 8-10 years when I got it. I didn't use it for the longest. I had a construction company, but our MC's been active for almost 4 years now. It might be over 4 years now. But we started doing the shit the wrong way, man. I had a couple other companies, and I drove the truck and then leased trucks and hired drivers, and then did the enterprise thing for a little while. When my first truck blew up, then I bought some trucks, and then I started taking on owner operators after I met you. And we've been at it for a little bit. We've seen a little bit.
It doesn't go that easy. It wasn't that easy.
Hell no, it wasn't.
He's like, oh, I just met Shaggy, and we had all these trucks, and we were killing it. How did you do it? The low boards are always so awesome for freight. What's up, David Morgan? Ken Brown?
Just meeting people, man. Talking to people, meeting people, calling people, making connections. Like I made a video the other day. What's your network like? Who do you know? You know what I mean? We started out, actually, it's a funny story. Where I'm from, I live in South Florida now, but I was in Arkansas. And we had a little spot right next to us about 15 minutes down the road that made fiberglass oil pads for like the containment tanks and stuff out in West Texas. And I started hauling that shit, and it paid really good, and it paid good enough that we could haul it out there, and it was like 600-mile runs and deadhead back, and we were making $3 a mile. You know what I mean? But we came in when the industry was at its peak, so you could go on a load board and, you know, like you always talk about, do that and hit a load for, you know, $2.53 a mile, no problem on a hot shot.
Right. Right. And so what, Frank, you're gonna have to ask some questions here because see, Hotshot's out of my league, you know, because you know there's only so much space that's on a Hotshot deck. You got 40 feet. I understand it. What's up, Sam Farr with Pelican
Well,
Trucking?
most of them run 40 footers, but there's guys running some specialty equipment like 48 footers, step decks and stuff. And, you know, they got decks over the neck in there. You know, half of our fleet is air ride, so those trailers are 25 grand. You know, we're running some military stuff. You know, CNC machines, a lot of that factory crap. And, you know, so it just depends. Not everybody has a 40 footer, but you need to have at least a 40 footer. We used to mess around with like, you know, when I started, we had a 25 footer, and, you know, I went out
remember that.
about 2 weeks and figured out that crap wasn't going to work. You know what I mean? If you wanted to make any real money, you got to have at least a 40 footer. So we got 40-foot trailers, and then we got more trucks, and, you know, just kept on with it. But yeah, it's all about who you know, man. And
Come on,
if
Frank.
you don't have at least a 40 footer, you're going to have problems.
You're
Aaron,
just making fun of
now don't
Matchbox
start
cars.
yelling at me and then, hey, Aaron,
Yes, sir.
what is the advantage to having the hot shot? Tell everybody what the advantage, because you know, I mean, the first thing you think is, okay, well, if you got a great big truck, you can put all kind of shit in there, and with a hot shot, you're limited. But you know, we all know there are some advantages to having the hot shot. What is that? Tell everybody what that is.
There's not a whole lot, to be honest with you. I mean, 8.5 miles a gallon average, so you're got a little bit of fuel difference, but not a huge difference. Yeah, you get to sleep in a tiny little space instead of a big one. That's the bonus, I guess. There's not a lot, man. Getting it there faster, I would say. You know, we can roll a little bit quicker than the big trucks. Most of my guys are averaging like 600 plus miles a day. You can't, you know, I book semis too, and you can't hardly do that in a big truck. It's tough, you know. Sometimes you can. It depends on, you know, getting in and out of customers.
How are they able to do more than that with e-logs?
No, I mean, we still run e-logs. We're not.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I mean,
yeah. No, I mean, when we started out, you know, it was before the ELD thing, and obviously everybody was doing the same shit as everybody else. But no, now we're all legal. Everybody's got to have the ELD in there, and they're still getting it in the hours, but they're just running, you know, 70, 75. But it just seems like they're able to get more done. I don't know why. The semis, you know.
yeah, because there's more. Obviously, you're not putting all one piece. You're having multiple stops. The semi goes in and picks up one piece.
Yeah, sometimes that's the biggest pain in the ass is doing partials. But when we run LTL stuff, it's the same stuff that would go on a semi. It's just less weight. But, you know, like ACs and stuff, AC units, you know, for all the carrier and train and Linux and all that, man, you know, that stuff's all full 40 feet or even larger sometimes. You know, like our Mercedes Sprinter van thing we were doing for the longest out of South Carolina, that stuff was over, you know, 40 feet. Them things were hanging off the back. If you go online and follow me, you can see. Some of the guys had 44-foot trailers. Some of them had 48-footers. You know, so I mean, they were sticking way past. But you know, we just permit it and run them all over the place. But yeah, when you're doing the partial game, it can be sometimes it can be a pain in the ass, and then sometimes it's just on the route. So everything that you guys do, and even the money that the semis, you know, generate weekly revenue, we're getting darn close. Sometimes not consistently average, but the average in our fleet has been about 4,000 a week. You know, on the money. Now, that don't mean we don't have guys doing, you know, 6 and even 8,000 a week, but they don't ever go home. They're grinders. You know? The average is 4,000. So we can do a lot of pickups for that. You guys pick up at one spot and drop off. We got to. I'm
on my live show. Go ahead, keep going. Sorry.
No, I'm just saying, like, you know, we got to do a lot more work for what you guys do for less.
I figured somebody's calling in.
It's 10 times the headaches, you know, but we still make good money and the margins are good.
See, guys, this is the show to ask because he's been in business for 4 years. If Chuck gets on here in a second, I mean, he's been in business less and he's already up to 4 or 5. And man, every time he posts a picture, they're loaded like Donkey Kong or Crack. And, you know, this is the thing. These guys are making it in the hotshot business. This is the time to get on and ask. I mean, there's 70 people watching. I mean, get on and ask a question. How are they doing it? Are they taking your freight? Or truck drivers are mad. What's the difference between 9,000 pounds and 26,000 pounds? What's the difference between a CDL and not? He's had them. He's got them. He's ran them. This is the time to get on. You have people on here, the myth, the legend. These guys have been in business for four years. And how many do you have?
We have 8 right now.
And you're getting ready to go to 15, right?
Yeah, we're going to
Yeah.
15.
You just had to wait for the insurance to release so you can go, right?
No, we just have to get the guys ready to go. I mean, we're
Oh,
putting
I
on
was just
3
checking.
this week. We're putting on 3 this week, so we'll be up there. But we had 11. We had a couple guys have to get off for medical issues. One guy, his wife was having surgery and stuff, so he wanted to hang it up for a little bit. And we had one guy have a breakdown that went off the fleet.
Gary says pick and choose the freight. On the freight, push the rate.
Yeah, that's it, man. You just got to stay grinding, man, and stay after it. Like I'm always telling guys, get up early. But man, the way the low boards are looking right now, hot shots, it's like you're out there just with a knife trying to stab anybody, man. And it's tougher because you guys probably don't have the problems we have where we book a load, they call us back 5 minutes later. Oh yeah, well the customer canceled it. Canceled it my ass. You got some other hot shot guys ready to take it for a couple $100 less or
So
whatever.
how do you get away from that? I mean, hot
You got to
shotting,
know
we
people,
know how
man.
to do it on semis. Is semis different than hot shotting? I mean, me and Frank talk about it all the time. You see all these people on these groups, man, especially this last 2 or 3 weeks since the rates dropped, right, Frank?
Yeah.
Talking about the brokers are keeping the rates. The brokers are doing this. If I walk into a brokerage, if I walk into the brokerage, that's funny. I just heard this name today while she's on here since I've been picking on dispatching services today and stuff like that. Hot shots need to be able to haul the brake. When you're
Yeah.
dispatching, hot shots need to be able to haul the rate. Then probably the hot shot dispatchers should probably need to be able to do the credit checks so the carriers get paid when they book the loads to haul the freight when they're doing it too, right? Important. We get into dispatching in a minute. But
But yeah, if the trucks can't haul 20,000 pounds, don't even mess with them. You're just wasting your time. And I get calls all the time, man. The thing with Hotshot, it's like these guys are knuckleheads. A lot of them drove big trucks, and they just want to scale down or take it easy, or they bought that truck instead of buying a semi because for a new dually you can buy a good used semi, the same cost, and they just want to be able to use that at the house as their grocery getter and do it on the road, and it's a pain in the ass. But then they call me all the time. Well, the guy that I'm with, I always ask the questions like you told us to ask, but they're always like, the guy that I'm with, he runs me heavy all the time, and I don't like it. Well, what's heavy?
there
They're
we
like, oh,
go.
15,000, 10,000. I'm like, get this shit straight. You want to haul freight, but you don't want to haul nothing. You want to make money, but you don't want to haul nothing. That's the biggest thing. And you have these guys that are, oh, I
Hey
don't want to
Chuck,
go up north. I don't want to
Yes,
do this.
sir.
I don't want to do
turn
that.
down the background. It's
That's what I'm
playing
working on
somewhere.
right now.
Okay, good. Hold on, Aaron. We're bringing
How about
in Chuck
that?
the man. Is it great? That's great. So
Okay.
everybody want to welcome Chuck Watkins. Give him who you are and the name of your company, boss.
Hey, I'm Chuck. Chuck Watkins. I run a 402 Transport. We are a hot shotting business. We have one semi, but we have 6 hot shots. So we are a hot shot company, and
Boss.
we run 6 full hot shots. And we're not cutting any rates down there. I promise you, buddy. We're getting our throats cut just like you guys are. It's a bad business. You can't compete with them guys that are crooked, that don't have insurance, and they don't have stickers on their trucks. We can't compete with them either. So
Yeah,
as
go
much
on
as
YouTube, man. They're everywhere.
So we
Everybody's
got
doing crap.
questions coming in too. So now, guys, it's an open floor for another night where Frank's going to be just going fucking Matchbox trucks and stuff out here making money. Holy cow! So because this is the topic, I mean, me and Frank almost every show, and I know like when I do my blast and stuff, and I get slept in the back seat. I haven't rode up and cuddled. I don't know the rules about hot shotting. You know what I mean? So I don't know the difference between 9 and so many pounds. Oh, we lost him. He'll be back. So let's get some questions fired up in here. Until Chuck pops back up. We got Tiki. There he comes. We'll get him back in here. That's okay. You'll get the hang of it, so you know how to come on. And so we'll talk about your guys' company as we go through this thing. All right. So we got a question, Aaron. What do you think about those hot shots running under 26,000 pounds non-CDL?
Waste of time. You're not gonna make no money.
What do you think, Chuck?
we don't have any either. I agree.
What's the reasons
Let
behind
me
it,
tell you
though? You
something.
got what's the reasons behind it? Don't just say it's a waste of time. What is the reasons behind it?
The reason why is the shit doesn't exist. It's a myth, man. So those guys go do that, right? I mean, I when I started, I had 3 guys that had no CDL. We were running non-CDL hotshot. Let me tell you how I figured it out, right? You send them out on a load, the truck gets impounded because the trailer's rated for less, right? Or you're right under. You weigh 25,000, 24,000. They pull you in a scale house and they say, what's that GVW sticker on the truck? What's that GVW sticker on the trailer? Now I'm talking 25-foot trailers, right? That's what we started with. And the
What happened?
GVW on them are
You're
14K,
good.
right? So you're
You're
at
fine.
28 with a
Okay.
dually, a good new dually. You're at looks like they're gone, maybe.
No, you're there.
Dang it.
No, I moved it around.
Okay, okay. I could just
It
see
was me
Frank.
blessing with it. I was putting
Yeah.
names. I keep
Anyway,
going.
I got you and me, buddy. Did they disappear?
We're here.
Okay, I can't hear anything, so I can hear you, Shaggy. That's it.
Yeah, I got no Shaggy if I'm on here and no Frank.
You that?
I can see Frank and I can hear you, but that's it. Say
How's
something,
that?
Frank.
What? What do you want to talk about?
I can't hear Frank.
Hello.
Well, what the hell, man?
I can hear you.
Yeah, we had this same problem. We had 4 guys on here last time, Shaggy. We had trouble. Can you hear me?
Can anybody hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear Aaron?
I can only hear you, and I can see Frank.
Huh.
That's a good thing, actually. I mean, kind of lucky that way.
I can,
Now it's just us. Now it's just me.
Everybody back?
I'm back. I think I
see
can see
Shaggy.
you and see Frank.
You
Yeah,
can't see everybody? Everybody good?
I'm missing Frank, but everybody else is
I
good.
don't see Aaron.
Damn it, man.
Usually it works. Everybody back?
I'm here.
I'm now still missing Frank and the new guy.
I'm here.
I'm here.
Yeah, I got you.
I can see everybody on the thing.
Everybody tuned in because says they can see and hear us all. The problem
Yeah,
is we
I
can't
think
have a
it's you guys,
conversation.
your signal and stuff. Let's keep going. We'll just talk. You guys pay attention to me. We're good. We'll be good. All right. So listen, we'll go one at a time. Insurance. Let me turn the volume off now. All right, let's get back to the show. Insurance is killing it. Cammy says, right? You guys see that?
Yeah, 1,600 a month. Yeah, that's about average.
That is
I remember when
that's
we
a little
came on,
high,
we were
but
paying like
are we talking
2,000 a
hot
month.
shots?
So you
Yeah.
Cammy, is that?
got to stick with
Yes,
it. How long
one
have you been
truck.
with it?
One
Yes,
truck.
one truck.
One truck. How long have you been doing it?
Well,
And
if
who are
it's
you
one
with?
truck
What's
and
the
they own
insurance
their
company?
company, then it's going to be higher because they're paying the additional cargo and they're paying the additional general liability. So yeah, it's going to be
Well,
higher for
anyway, we're
just
with
one truck.
Progressive, and they treat us really good. We started out with Berkshire
Aaron,
Hathaway, and they suck.
hold on. Since you can't catch up with him, I'm gonna let Chuck. I'll tell you when to talk, so you know, because the rest of us are the same place. Go ahead, Chuck.
I think 1,600 is about right for one truck because you're picking up the general liability and you're picking up the cargo coverage on that for that one truck for everything. The more trucks you get, the lower that's going to be.
It's 16 times 10 is 16,000. So if they're in their first year, that's about right because that's a
Yeah.
myth. Everybody thinks that just because you got a hot shot, it's going to be different cargo insurance than a semi, and it's not. So then you got to go out there and know your numbers, right? Like we talked about the boot camps where you got to break that shit down, right, Aaron?
Yeah, I don't know what he said. I can't hear him.
We're talking about he's talking about the insurance. We're talking about it being 1,600 a month, which is 16,000 a year. Everybody that comes in is hot shot on a different route.
Because they probably had to put money down.
Well,
So
it probably
it's
is. It could be
the
almost
average
20.
for Hotshot. What I'm hearing is like 20 grand a year. But these guys are new carriers too. You got to think, unless they've been around for a while, if they just started in high rates like that, they've probably been around for like a year.
It is all about credit, how long you've been in business. If you're coming in with a non-CDL or even a CDL and you're starting out on a new authority and it's less than 2 years, you're going to get punished just like a semi. There's no benefits. There's no breaks because you're a hot shot. You're still paying $1,100,000 and you got to go out there and bust your ass and do the work.
All right.
Price is hard. Right, Frank?
That's right. Well, you know, I'm looking for uh, I'm looking for somebody
Now
to
we're all here,
tell
right?
me. Can you hear
I'm
me?
here.
I'm looking for somebody to
There we
tell
go.
me if you're going to get in the trucking business, why Hotshot? I'm trying to find, you know, why
Well,
Hotshot.
I'll tell you why most people do it is because they think that it's easier. Because for some reason they think this is what they do. They got $5,000, right? And they got a credit card, and they go down to the dealership, and you can get a 28% interest loan on a truck, and it seems easier than buying a semi, which you can get a semi just as easy. But people don't think that, and they're thinking I'm going to use my truck at home or on the farm or whatever, and tow my drag stuff to the track at the weekend or whatever, and I'm going to do this. You know, even some people think part time, which is impossible, but they think that I'm going to do it, use it as my house truck and my work truck, and it's just not feasible. But they do that. They put 5,000 down on the truck. They've got 1,500 for fuel. They put 1,000 down on a trailer or whatever, and they're broke. And they call people like me, and they're like, "Hey man, I need insurance. I need this. I need that. I don't even have tarps. I don't have nothing. Can you help me out?" That's 99% of the people that call me.
All right, here's a question for Chuck. See if he can answer. If not, we'll try to. What is the best way to contact brokers? Is there a place to find them for semis and tilt bed trailers? Just having an issue finding stuff around upstate South Carolina.
Well, for us, originally when we first started coming to your boot camp, that was one of our big questions in there is where do you find brokers? But guess what? It's legwork. The only way you're going to find the guys that want to work for you is by having a reputation of doing the right thing, and having all the right stuff. You can't show up for a load like Aaron was talking about and show up with no tarps, or show up for with some tarps that I bought from Walmart that tear apart before I leave the parking
Remember
lot.
when we were in the boot camp and we're on broker day, and I was cramming all that stuff in there, and some people, it's better for them to come to the office. Some people, it's better at the boot camp. But we talked about once you get to that first stage, we talked about building relationships. Just like when Blake was with you before he met you, he came to my office and I asked him about all those times he was dispatched. He said, "Who do I go after?" Well, what are you hauling? What fits on your trailer? Where do you get that at? And then don't you go direct?
Yeah.
Yeah, you try to go direct as much as you can.
You have
Or
to.
do you do what Judy says here, where I can't stand fucking dispatching services, just so you guys know? But Judy says start with a dispatching service when you're brand new. They're going to do a great job for you and help you survive, right? What do you guys think about that crap?
No.
I think, in my opinion, it depends on the dispatching service, but there's 99 bad ones and half of a good one.
How is a dispatching service going to build a network for you two to get away from them?
It doesn't.
How
The
are they going to
problem is,
build relationships and get you customers?
But
here's
here's
go
my
ahead,
take
Aaron.
on that, man. Is I always tell guys, if you don't know anything about the industry, you're better off signing on to somebody. I know we're gonna disagree on that, Shaggy, but
I'm not
signing on to
disagreeing with it
somebody.
100%. I think it's totally true because half the time, the guy you could sign on to, you remember when I shut down my trucking company, my insurance was $300 a month per truck
That's crazy.
plus 15%. We were with Century on mileage. You have
Yeah,
to get the fleet status and be in business for over 3 or 4 years to even see those guys. And
yeah,
there's other ones higher than that. So if I can get you $5,000 to $7,000 a week and save you on benefits, insurance, and everything, then why would you go do it on your own if you're not going to try to grow or diversify or add on owner operators or whatever?
right. Well, especially right now, man. If you get somebody that's got some good contracts or doing some military stuff, or they got the deals in where they're hauling the ACs and they're already on the email list or they're booked in there, you're gonna get shit off the load board that don't pay nothing right now. You're better off getting rates that pay better. You're gonna, haul easier freight, cleaner freight for better people that are already credit check, gonna pay their bills, and you get
What
paid.
about what about going to somebody like Chuck with Angie in his office and the other lady that they have in there, or
Yeah,
somebody in your office with your dad that's
right.
going to bring you in and help you? And if you go get customers and make them more money, you're going to be hauling. They're going to help you grow, especially as they add their brokerage and to get more freight.
Yeah,
Because
exactly, man.
obviously, Chuck, and you want those guys to keep hauling your freight. You don't want to go out and
Of
find
course.
new people to do that for you, do you?
Right,
No, you want to
exactly.
keep them happy.
Yeah,
You
that's
want to
the
keep
thing,
your.
man.
It's easier to keep what you got and work with it and try to fix them and help them progress so that one day they can do their own thing. But initially, if you could keep them for a couple of years, you're building your own empire. You're gonna start all over again in a couple of years with new drivers because you want them to go out and start their own. And I mean, ultimately, that's what you want. You want them
Right.
to build their own business.
Chuck, I don't know about you, man, but across our fleet, our average that we make off the guys at 20%. Now we have guys that have been with us longer and they're getting a better deal. We deduct as the years go on, we give you more percentage. But at 20%, our average is like $500 a week that they pay us. Now we handle payroll, dispatching, we pay our factoring fees out of that. You know, we have if there's a dispute, we handle it. If there's a problem, it's good to have a middleman. You know, you pull up and the customer or broker or whoever's pissed off at you, we can kind of be that buffer to them, you know, whereas if you're the trucker, I've been there. Hey, man, screw you. This is bullshit, blah, blah. Somebody's ripping me off, or you lied to me, or you screwed me. Right. There's no buffer in the middle, you know, and it just becomes a problem.
Right. And we actually do it that we actually do not want our drivers to call the brokers. Let us handle it. I got folks in the office. That's what they're for. That's their job. Their job is to take all that heat and take care of everything. Our drivers drive trucks, they load trucks, and they take care of the load. That's their job.
And you put great pictures of them doing it all over your stuff so your customers see it all the time. I remember when we told you that. Me and Frank talk about that all the time. And I love sharing those to the group. He talks about, go ahead.
A lady put a note in there. A dispatch service helps the new company get started when they don't know what to do.
A non-CDL due a 40-foot trailer cannot haul capacity needed to make a living. We agree with that 100%. What do you think?
Bullshit. It said no, you can't do it. Is that what it said?
It's right there in front of you. This is our trucking company. Yeah, non-CDL.
Your CDL just getting in the truck.
Yeah, you got to have a CDL. Yeah, you can't make any money without a one-ton dually minimum and a 40-foot trailer. The guys that I have that have really killed it, man, you get specialized. You know, you got a 48 or 53 step deck with 15K axles in it, a 550 or 650 series truck. It's a little bit bigger than just your basic Hotshot setup. You know, and they got air ride on it. They got maybe a hydraulic tilt deck, or they definitely got to have monster ramps. But they also have like 15-foot long ramps, so they could haul some different, autos if it's short wherever they're at or something. And that way they can haul everything a 53 step deck can, but they can't haul more than about 30,000.
Hold on. Latrice says sitting here at a truck stop. And 5 Hotshots just pulled in hauling drywall with no DOT numbers, nothing. I want to know how they can legally run like that. There you go, boys.
They can't. Even if it was like, say, I own the company and it was my sheetrock and I was taking it to a job site, you still got to have a DOT number.
And as the go ahead. No, go ahead.
You don't have to have MC, but you got to have a DOT.
Right. And if you cross the state, if you have to cross the state, you still got to have permits. You still got to have permits to cover yourself. It's no different than trucking it. It costs money. And within those guys that are doing that right now, that are running it, it won't be long because in 2020, clearinghouses come in. The Nexus system, I call it the Nexus system, but it's going to be whatever you want to call the government's high top fucking know you wipe your ass when you're 12 the wrong way system that they got coming out. Well, in the next 3 years, when it's all integrated, you'll have drivers listing their license for bad safety scores. Companies won't even think about being chameleons. Insurance companies aren't used people that aren't doing it right. So as it keeps happening, it's going to keep changing and getting stricter, whether we like it or not. But it hasn't stopped the people that are making money. Chuck's making money. Aaron's making money. Me and Frank talk to people every day making money. Your safety and your wife works how hard on safety and compliance?
Busts her ass, man.
How's your wife do, Chuck?
Oh, that's her only job is safety and admin for the office. She doesn't do no dispatching.
Frank, your daughters?
They do admin stuff. Brittany and Frank do all the ops.
Safety and compliance, they're on it, aren't they?
Yeah, they do.
No exception. How do you get to make money and drive if you don't do the first part first?
Exactly.
Right? Let's keep guys.
I'm probably going to be like, oh, this guy's an asshole, whatever, man. I'm not going to be a snitch and call on him if I see him going down the road, but I hope they all get busted. I ain't going to feel sorry for him. Nobody feels sorry for me. I got busted in the beginning, put out of service on several trucks and, had a truck get impounded, paid major fines. That's how I learned all this shit the hard way. But I was able to stick with it and be an honest business person and keep going. And now we're legal and I don't mess with that.
There's a good question for you guys. Hey, still, you read the comment, too many people watching Shipping Wars and thinking it seriously. I think it was Shipping Wars. No, actually, I think it was Shipping Wars at the same time when the oil business fell out. Remember? When the oil business dropped out, you had a ton of wet kit trucks and Hotshots that came in, and you had Shipping Wars just getting really big on TV. That is a very good statement by Judy. Here's another one. Josh Hankins says people think they're going to make 10,000 in hot shots and don't realize the market is not there to make that kind of money. Why is the market not there to make 10,000? Can you make 10,000 if you get customers though and start hauling more specialized stuff?
Well, I tell you, we had 3 guys in the fleet the week before Christmas do like 8,900, 9,000. So it's still there if you have, as long as we've been around, you got some customers and some clients, but it's not consistent. We probably do that once every 2 or 3 months. These guys are averaging, 4 to 6,000. And I have guys that are slow, get up at noon, don't
Do
want
they
to
get to go home every weekend to do that?
No, you're not going home every weekend. Some guys are, but they're not making that kind of money. It just depends
Chuck,
on where you're at.
what's your
Most,
opinion on that question, Chuck?
I agree. The guys that are making the money are the guys out there, and they're staying out there for
Yeah.
14 days. You get your 5 days out there a week in hotshot, and you're not making no money.
Right.
The time you pay your insurance and your fuel, you're not making much money. I mean, you're
But
making
it-
money.
Why
But you're
is that
not
though?
making,
Is it
you're not
because
making
there's
big money.
Yeah.
but why is that? Because the volume of freight's not as like what
It's not
Frank was
there.
talking about trucking?
It's not
I,
there.
I
Even if you
think
have
it's like what
customers.
Aaron and I were talking about earlier. You got too many people out there. You know how many loads this week already? Today's Wednesday. Probably 6 loads canceled on us with the excuse of, they're not shipping that now. And then
Yeah,
my drivers pull in there and, guess what? Oh, sorry, you got a Raycon, but that load that load shipped out of here yesterday. So my drivers talk to him and say, oh, one of the yard guys went ahead and hauled that up 600 miles up north.
Yeah. Oh,
With
through
his
the
pickup,
night,
with
no
his pickup
number.
in a bumper pull trailer.
Yeah.
And you
That's
know what?
crazy.
Yeah, but that's
That's
what they're
what's going
doing
on.
now.
Oh
That's
no, I
what they're
believe it.
crazy.
I know it. I just want you guys to tell these people. If I say it all the
I
time,
think that what he
I'm the
said about
trucking guy.
shipping was what
You
he said
guys are
about
the hot
shipping was.
cutter. You're the one that's fighting. I'm the trucking guy that has 300 more loads to choose from.
Right.
More than that. Hell, you go on some of the boards, there's 1,000. With us, there's
I was
20.
just being nice.
Yeah.
Quit, man. I was being nice. I've done hot shots when I first started. Then I shot myself in the leg. Then I knew I'd never do it again because I see the scar on my leg. You know what I mean? Here's a good question for you guys because I know both of you have been to my boot camps. You came to Dallas, and Chuck and Aaron came to Orlando. What's it? Here's one for you. Michael Collier wants to know: does the Shaggy's game map still apply to hot shots?
Yes
I,
and no.
yeah.
Yes and no.
The theory of it, the seasons of it applies, but is
I
the
tell you what,
freight the
though,
same?
I'll be honest with
No.
that guy. When I first went, I think it was whatever you did one of your first, like 2 years ago or something, or
Yeah.
whatever. It was before the boot camp that you told me where you running, And so we narrowed that down to an area that we stay in because back then we were going to Montana, Cali. Hell, I was in Cali once a week driving my own truck. And now we stay, farthest west we go is like Oklahoma City, Tulsa. We go to the Carolinas, up north, Minnesota, Wisconsin, all the way to Florida, and stay right there in that circle, and we do fine.
What about you, Chuck? Go ahead, brother.
Well, we're still young. We're figuring out a bunch of the map stuff too. But just this week, we've realized, and I wish I could take you, and I'll take you over there in a second. Look at the map. We've relined ours because we had California, Montana, Wyoming. We had all that because during oil field season, when the oil field's up, those are good places to go. Not good coming out. Great going in.
You better get $3 a mile or 250, at least 260 a mile going in. Otherwise,
Yeah,
it's the same as staying in my area.
And now you can't even go to California. You don't want to go to Arizona. You don't want to go to Nevada. You want to stay at Oklahoma and east. If you go out that other side, you're gambling.
Yeah.
So my map is just like hot shotting, just not the different freight levels and different customers for each one.
Right. You don't have the produce and stuff that you talk about moving around and shit. We don't have that because we don't haul it. But and there's certain things that don't go out of the way. But like this year,
right? But when I'm on the map talking about it, but see, it's all about how you listen when I'm talking. Because when I'm naming off those areas, I'm just naming off the main stuff people are go to. But if I start breaking it down, like when Blake was in my office and I talk about the generator places, the manufacturers of welders and machines and motors and parts and racks and this and stuff, don't all that go on hot shots? Isn't that the same places as flat? Don't pipe go on flat shots?
Yeah.
Pipe?
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff. Like one of the best hot shotter I ever met says he finds more high dollar freight looking on LG or RGN, step deck, and LTL stuff for them because they're put in the wrong spots than he finds just on the LTL hot shot part on the load boards. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's some of the big dog secrets, man.
Hey,
Yeah, if
oh my
I
God, sorry.
yeah if I'm looking on a load board, I'm not looking
Don't give
under
them
hot
all
shot.
up, man.
Oh
Tomorrow
yeah,
we'll
sorry,
have
my bad. I
5,000
just
people
want,
looking
I
at
don't
your
know
page.
hot
We'll look
shotting.
at
I'm sorry. I don't know anything about hot shotting. I just want the experts to come on because you got one guy that's in his first year, it's his 6 trucks, one guy that's in his fourth year at 8.
Yeah. So, and we've had as many as 15.
How
But
are guys going to survive, Chuck? We already know his answer. How we're going to keep going through questions though. Here's that dispatching service again. You guys believe that's true?
oh, um, the only reason I would sign on
It's
to a
all right. You can
dispatch
be
if I
mean.
was
It's
new,
Shaggy's channel. It's all right. We're mean.
the only reason I would sign on to a dispatch if I was new into Hotshot, now not necessarily a big truck because they might have clients, whatever, but if that Hotshot dispatch person didn't have clients, and I mean like some big ones, like Train, the Linux, and
What
some
if they're just
military
off
stuff,
load boards? Just off load boards, and you're
no,
going to use
hell
a
no.
dispatch
Hell no, I can do that myself.
for 8%
You can't
of
afford
your
it.
money. 8% of your money off of load boards.
I'm sorry, but you can't afford it. That person will be out of business in 90 days.
I hear what there's a good question. How important is it starting out to be able to haul vehicles along with freight when you're hot shotting?
It's not. Yeah, it's not
Stay
important.
away from vehicles.
We didn't haul any vehicles at first.
Yeah.
Zero.
The only vehicles that I really
You do it
did
now?
hauling was the
No, we
Mercedes
haul
Sprinter
no
vans.
commercial cars and like for sale. We sell, or we haul. We might haul some yard trucks, maybe, or stuff like that for a company that maybe we're hauling a generator for, and they want us to haul their yard truck too, their
Got
2500 or whatever. But we don't haul brand new Mercedes from California to where. No, we don't haul none of that stuff.
Well, we haul the Mercedes Sprinter vans out of South Carolina and Baltimore, Maryland, where they bring them into the ports and they build them and assemble them in South Carolina. And those go gangbusters, man. And we've done thousands of loads for them, and we love it. Also, Humvees. We move a lot of Humvees and stuff, military stuff. And
I'm
those
just
new,
asking because if you're a hotshot that's stuck on freight, I was just looking at my buddy Jay with Auto Transport Intel, and if you're hauling cars and stuff like that, and you had the cars to your already high priced insurance where you're already moving, I just looking at a
That's the
show,
difference.
and there's 12 load boards just for cars for trucking companies that hotshots that they can put cars on, and that one's got 10,000 loads a day. That second one's got 7,000 load. That one's got 3,000, and those two right there got two a piece, and everybody can have access to all 12 of those. And there's more. That's just the top 12. So what would that do if you instead of deadheading 300 miles to throw two cars on?
it would only be a backhaul for some reason if you need to get back to a
That's what I'm
customer
talking
and you
about.
couldn't find nothing, you know.
Well,
But the other thing is, most of the trailers, you guys don't realize, you can't unless you have some specialty ramps. You can't just go buy a trailer and put a car up on it. It won't go
that's
up
what
on
I'm
there.
why I'm bringing it up. That's what
No.
I'm bringing up. Is it
Yeah.
special equipment? I'm not a car hauler either.
But
So
yeah, if you don't have a special trailer, if you don't have the special insurance, if you don't have all the special equipment to strap them down correctly and all that, then you're setting yourself up for failure. If you're a young hotshot guy and you're out there just hauling
see,
pipe and oil field stuff, you jump onto somebody's brand new car and you try to haul
yeah,
across it and you're throwing chains across it. You, they're
I
not going
know.
to be
That's why
happy
I
when you
brought
get
that
on the
up.
other
See,
side.
you see how I ruled
Yeah.
that out there for you? I
Yeah,
wanted you to
we
talk
don't
about that.
haul.
Let's talk about another product real
We don't
quick.
do that.
So, can a guy that's doing containers with a tilt trailer and a winch switch back and forth for all the different styles of freight when he's set up on a trailer for a hot shot to haul those big containers?
He could, but most of those container guys with the tilt trailer and stuff, they're staying doing
They're
local. They're
they're
running like
steady.
right
Yeah.
there by the ports, and they're dropping that shit off, like within 400 or 500 miles, and going back and doing it again. We stay away from containers because I don't want to haul them, cross country. The only way I'm hauling a container is if it pays $5-6 a mile, and we get them occasionally where I'll be like, it's a specialty container. It's not like a port container because they won't pay shit on those. But if it's some reason like a specialty setup, and they're like, yeah, we need this move. We're gonna have it picked up with a crane. We did do them for like down here in Florida, where I'm from. Lowe's and some of these companies allow people to buy these containers or rent them or whatever, put them on the site. Then it's a crazy business. They load them with shit off of Amazon or whatever website. And so you would come to me, buy it. I would call Lowe's, say, hey, go pull it off the shelf and put it in the container. Then they ship it overseas to South America and stuff. So I've done stuff like that where I go pick it up and take it to the port, and they'll pay me, 600-800 bucks, and it's 50 miles or 90 miles.
We are going to, guys, I'm going to pause for a second. Anybody that's watching that has questions, I see a whole list of them down through here, man. We are getting to them as fast as we can. We're going to keep answering all these questions, even if it goes till these guys fall asleep. We're going to try to get through all these questions. Hey, Hotshot was made to run oil field only. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Originally, years ago, it shouldn't even be called Hotshot now. It should be
That's your
called
background,
LTL.
right, Chuck?
What's that?
That's your background, right, Chuck?
No, my background's military, but the
Did you do some with oil and stuff like that or
yeah,
something?
I was building oil field equipment.
Well, that's what I meant. No, I knew
Yeah,
the
before this,
military.
I
Yeah.
think hot shotting started back in what 1920, and they were bootlegging. That's when
Moonshine
they
or
were
something.
bootlegging moonshine and everything else. So hot shotting been around for longer than people can really realize.
Yeah.
Oil field has used them the most, obviously, because they want it from A to B and they want it quick. There's straight line. So
Well,
Here's
all
the
you guys, I
question.
mean, Frank knows this. You guys have been on a game longer than us, but Hot Shot was invented. You know, no numbers, no nothing. You run illegal. You get up at 2 in the morning. Hey, get that shit to Houston or Pecos or San Angelo or whatever out there right now. You know, $5,000. Let's go. You get in it. You're sitting in Houston or you're sitting right there by the pipe yard or whatever. You grab it and run up there. They pay and you dead at home. But it's not like that no more. These guys are really running it as an LTL carrier. Is what we're doing. We're a big truck, but a little bit of weight.
We are just about ready to let the one hot shot we have running go because it's too bad right now.
Send them to us. It's only bad because you don't have any customers.
And Chuck, you're both taking on more hot shots,
yeah.
right? And what's your requirements?
CDLA, 40-foot trailer, newer truck, clean MVR, and don't be a crybaby.
Both the same deal right there.
There you go. And we'll put your information out there and you guys can post it in the group and we'll put it on the page later so everybody knows who you guys are.
Awesome.
Aaron's going to start doing consulting, Chuck. His nickname's the trucking guy.
Yeah. Follow me
Because
on the
there's
truck
somebody who
account.
wants
I'm
to
gonna be a
help the
little
industry,
shaggy.
you know? You and
On
Chuck need to
Instagram,
exchange
Instagram,
numbers.
say
You guys
trucking.
can do the trucking guy and his sidekick, Chuck, and help out because you guys can help each other. You know, it's
Hey,
cool.
they need it, man. There's if you go
They
what
do
else you
need
said
it.
if that you were talking about
I can't stand
show,
doing it.
the TV show, whatever it was back in the day. Nowadays, it's even 10 times worse because that TV show
Frank,
got
you
played
okay
out,
over
but
there? You
nobody
falling
watches
asleep?
TV. It's all on YouTube, man.
Yeah,
There's a
me too.
million people doing it illegal, man, on YouTube. A
Yeah.
million.
Oh yeah.
That $10,000 a week question. I
What
just
about
seen.
the closed trailers for Hot Shot with motorcycles and cars? Is that in your guys' realm or is that for a different show with Ty and Jay?
No,
Yeah.
I would do it, man, but you got to have some customers, man. But those guys, I know some guys, some friends of mine, they make big money hauling Lamborghinis and shit, big money. And I mean Ferraris and Bentleys and stuff. They make enough money that they go out for $4 or $5 a mile and deadhead home.
Josh Hankins says yes, direct shippers only way to go. 4,000 to 5,000 a week now.
That's agreed. Yeah.
I
Agreed.
got my little book right here, man. I don't know about you, Chuck, but we run a P&L, man, on every single week on every truck. And if you ain't got this, man, you need to be doing it. But that's what every hotshot guy should be doing. Knows every mile, every dollar rate, every shipper to and from, what everybody's doing. So we know exactly what's going on and what the rates actually are.
Judy says they haul cars with their hot shots to subsidize their trailers. Subsidize freight, keep our trailers full. It's a lot of risk.
I know guys that do it. I'm not
I
saying
know
you
I do
can't.
too. I know lots of guys that diversify in it.
And I
And
think
if you have the equipment to do it, you know?
exactly. If you're going to pay the insurance, you have to haul them. You don't
Yeah.
have a choice.
Oh yeah.
Man,
I
I
love
had
that
a
part.
couple guys
I
that
love
came
that
on.
part. You think 20,000 is high on insurance for a hot
Yeah.
shot now? Add cars to it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have cars on ours right now, and our guys are averaging $1,200 a month.
Yeah, but you're 4 years in business. We're talking about a
Right.
new person. It makes a
No,
difference when you
no.
have
When
get past
we
10
started
trucks in
out,
your new venture.
when we started out, my insurance guy said, "Don't haul cars. If you're going to, don't even say cars. Don't say."
Well,
it 'cause
right.
you can't
So
get
that's
That's
what we're
exactly
talking
what
about.
mine said.
I was like, "What's the big deal with cars, man? Why is it so damn expensive?" And he said, "I guess because of claims, man." But no, we have cars on here now, and we have to have because, like he said, we do yard trucks, yard moves. Every once in a while we'll still get the Mercedes thing. It kind of dried up a little bit. Those Prime vans for Amazon were the big bulk of that this last year, and they kind of dried up a little bit. They went to a
There you
bigger
go.
one.
Who's up?
Semis.
Oh no, let's talk to Frank for a second. We'll get back to questions because he looks like he's having a heart attack, some kind of seizure over there. Because we're on a show, we should be talking about getting customers and
He's
Frank,
like,
but
what
we're
the
talking
hell did
about
he
hot
get
shot
me
eating
into?
shit. Frank's over there, looks like he's constipated and stuff. He needs some Pepto, like some
I'm
Wackeners.
sitting, I'm sitting here playing solitaire and chatting with my friends over on the motorcycle page. I still haven't had anybody tell me yet. Sorry, we don't sugarcoat. Why in the hell would I go in the hot shot business instead of buying a regular
A
truck?
semi.
Why?
What is the reason? Frank said
What's
he
the
wants
reason?
to know why
Somebody
you
tell me
don't buy.
one
I mean,
reason.
yeah, because a trailer, $10,000 to $20,000 for a good one, right?
It's the same. It's the same
Hold
cost
on, hold
as
on.
starting.
Tell us why. Trailer, $10,000 to $20,000. All right, semi, a trailer, $10,000 to $20,000, maybe more. Semi truck, 40 to 70, 80, 100, $150,000, right? A really good brand new dually with everything loaded, and you by the time you put the sleeper and whatever gadgets you can put on it, $80,000, $100,000.
Yeah,
Especially if you get one of those really good ones, like Ty says all the time. When you're doing hot shot, you don't even use the pickup truck. Get the bigger truck, has the fifth wheel thing on it, the flat trailer on the back with the trailer and all that stuff, where they customize the bunk. Now you're at $130,000. But the thing is when you go and trade a dually in, and it's got $150,000,
nobody wants
150,
it.
200,000 miles, nobody wants it. You
Yeah,
go and put trade a semi in for 150, 20, 200,000 miles, everybody in your mom still wants it. So
yeah.
why does a person with the CDL decide to go after a hotshot or get into business instead of doing a semi?
Because they think it's easier, but it's actually 10 times harder. And the same thing. Let me tell you why I did it. I don't know about
We'll go
everybody
with
else,
you
but
first. Go ahead, Aaron.
the biggest thing I think is everybody thinks it's easier. And like I said, they want a nice truck that they can be proud of to drive at home and run their, dragster to the weekend or run their cows around or whatever, and then use it, at home too. But the reason why I did it is I had dualies sitting there that we used as roofing trucks, pulling the roofing dump trailers and shit. And we were slow one winter, and because I had a construction company, and I said, man, there's got to be something I can do. And I knew people that were doing this, that had been doing it for 15 years. One of my biggest friends and mentors has been at it 15, 20 years, man. He's got all the contracts set up where he's never used a road board in 10, 15 years, you know? But so I said, well, I'll put these things to work. Well, I came in at the peak of the market when everything
Yeah.
was $3 a mile. And then I just put those trucks to work. But then I learned a lot of shit the hard way. And if I would have known what I know now to start over, I probably would go with a semi. I wouldn't mess with it. And if I did do a hot shot setup, I would buy all 48
Or
foot
Ricky.
flat decks with air ride and probably F550s or
Thank you.
F650s.
What do you
I
think?
wouldn't buy 40
Chuck,
foot.
you want a state opinion on that?
I think I kind of agree with Aaron quite a bit on that. And some of my drivers were already truck drivers for 20,
Yeah,
30 years. I got three of them.
yeah.
They drove their whole life. But you know what? What they're telling me is the reason. Now, I did it just like him. I did it I was getting out of the military. I was retiring. I had a big truck. I hooked a trailer to it. I was hauling RVs and horse trailers from
I remember
Oklahoma,
that.
Oklahoma City up to Eckhart, Indiana. So
That's how a lot of guys actually get started. A
yeah,
few of my
so
guys
I was
did
like,
that.
you know what, this is kind of cool. I'm going to go
There's
ahead.
no
I mean,
money in that though.
yeah, no, but at the time I was already working in the military, so it was just supplementing my income, so it was okay. But then I got out and I started it full time. But a lot of my guys are telling me that it's more convenient. They can get in and out of places a lot easier. They can park, disconnect a lot faster. They can.
I agree
I
with
mean,
you because we've had guys that drove, 20 years too, and they're just aggravated with semis. I don't know why,
right.
but aggravated with them. They don't want to do it no more. They don't want the stress of a big truck, and they're fine with sleeping in the back seat of a little dually, and they think it's easier to drive. And it is. Anybody that's ever driven a 53 flat or drive in, you go over to driving a hot shot. It's a little bit easier. I'm not gonna say a lot,
What
but
do
it
you
is
think,
a little
Frank?
bit easier.
What do you think? Come on, Frank. You know you're dying to say,
Good.
what? I could drive that
No,
thing.
no.
I could drive that semi in my sleep over around a curve through turtle passes backwards and heaven, right?
Well, I'm not going to say it, but Tiki did. She said they do hot shot because they can't back a trailer.
Oh,
Now here's one thing I can
man.
see. We've got a
That's not
customer.
true. That's
We
bullshit.
we've got a customer. We've got. I didn't say it. Tiki did. She will.
We'll
Let me
get
tell
to
you
that
something.
comment.
Let me tell you
We're
something.
so far behind on comments. Look at all this.
Tiki's an ex-marine. She will whip your ass out in the parking lot. Anyway, if you have a deal like we had a
Hi,
deal here several.
Shaggy.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
We were just talking about you a few minutes ago.
Oh no.
Being the boss and the brains and the whip back there on that safety and
That is
compliance in the
me. I'm
background.
telling you, this place couldn't run without me.
I see it all. I see the connections and the things. Say hi to everybody in Facebook world.
Bye, Shaggy.
How important? Hold on. How important
no.
running a business when you're starting out? Is it important to have a dispatcher? Or is it important to have a wife that feeds you, that takes care of you, keeps you running, so that way your money's invested in your own business instead of somebody else's? Huh, Angie?
Yeah. He doesn't want me dispatching,
But
Shaggy.
it doesn't matter on dispatcher. You still got, if you and him don't work together, how's it going to stay in the house?
That's true.
Moral support.
We get along pretty well, actually. So
It's awesome.
it's a good thing.
Go ahead, Frank.
I forgot what I was talking
You
about.
were talking about hot shotting the semis that you don't know how to drive a hot shot, Tiki or something.
Tiki said that. I could see doing a hot shot thing. But, we had a customer here a few years back, and they shipped about 8 loads a week into downtown New York City, Manhattan, and they were
no.
they were doing all this stuff. Yeah, well, they were getting about $5.50 a mile, so hell no, all you want to. But
They can have it.
they were making a killing going up there and back.
Unless you had somebody that lived in New York and was fine with it.
Go ahead. Well, no, let him finish the
I'm
story,
done.
Aaron, before he starts talking about your
I can't argue it. I can't argue with logic like that. If your drivers won't do it, you don't have control of it. You're right. You can't do it. But anyway, we did it for about 3 years, and we made a killing. A killing.
Nice. Good.
So what's the difference in going in? Okay, I got it. So what's
Nice
the difference
basics,
of
because
hauling $5?
in New York, they block the intersections. They block them up. These cars will pull up and block them. And if you had a shorter piece of equipment, a shorter truck, you can go in and out and out. A hell of a lot of these.
Hold on, I got a question though. So so we got Chuck here that does running, and I know where he runs because I've seen him because I will stock his page and stuff like that over when he first started. So what is the difference in chasing freight for $4 or $5 a mile to New York, right? Right, where it might be more congested, but it's still cheap freight coming out, or you might not be cheap freight coming out if you have people there, and make connections like Frank talks about all the time. Then going out to Montana, where you might have to deadhead 500 miles to get your next load, or anywhere out Wild West on that map right there. What's the difference in the drama, a headache of either one? The drama of the driver bitching because he has to go and the money you lose to try to justify deadheading, or getting $5 a mile to go to a congested area that might be harder to back into, but you actually have a load coming out in a closer radius. That's my question.
I haven't been able to get anybody that's willing to go. I had one guy, and he worked for us for about 3 years, and he would go every once in a while to New York. My guys will go through New York. They'll go to Jersey, up Maine.
But if you're hiring
like
owner operators, what if you get customers and you hire the owner operators to do hot shot from there?
Yeah, I mean, you could.
We're just analyzing this, you know what I mean? We're like doing analyzations. But what is the difference between going chasing freight out there from Oklahoma out that way, where you have a odds of getting stuck, right?
Yeah.
Where there isn't no DOT or congestion, but it's still wide open and beautiful, going compared to chasing freight to the Northeast.
All about it.
Huh?
You could get to Jersey, you could get to Baltimore, you get to a lot of places a lot quicker deadheading there.
Yeah, but the DOT's going to mess with you. The risk is higher, claims are higher, wrecks are higher, the livelihood of your driver's higher, the stress is higher. When you go out Wild West, you got farther to deadhead, you drop a load. It's not as crazy, not as risk, not as much DOT, but you might have to go 300 miles to get another load.
Dude, I have some guys that make.
Or if it falls
really
out on you, you got to go 500.
Go to North Dakota.
What if you're out in Montana? Hold on. What if you're out in Montana, Chuck, and you take $5 a mile out, and the first day you have all those reloads set, and as that thing happens to you, where they cancel all 4 of them?
Don't think that doesn't happen.
I know it happens. That's what I'm talking about. I'm bringing it up
every day.
Right. I know that. That's what I'm saying. So what is the difference when you go chasing into the game area on my map with hot shots compared to semis? Because you don't think that happens with semis? Everything
I know. I got one. It happens.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Just as often as it does for our hot shots. It only takes one bad turn, so to speak, to ruin your whole day.
I understand.
Ruin your whole week. so to
Oh yeah,
speak.
yeah.
Because I mean, when you start canceling as many loads as you're booking, it's not a good day.
Yeah,
It,
that's kind of the day we had. A day we had two guys have breakdowns. Luckily, they
Yeah.
were small and they got back on the road quick. But it was just one of those damn days. You know what I mean? Had three cancellations, pissed off. And, you know they don't care. They see
but
that's
that
like a
goes
lot of
back.
these
But
brokers,
that
man. They act like a breakdown is the end of the world. Like, what the hell do you mean? Like,
but
we're
that
supposed
goes
to be
back
on a
to
rocket
Frank.
ship.
Frank, you don't do you? No one asked Frank about when they were doing that for 3 years. Did they actually have backhauls?
Yeah, we all
But even
dunnage back.
at that rate, it wouldn't matter anyway. You could still make money coming out.
Right, but no one asked that. That was the point I was waiting for somebody to
The
ask.
only
That
the
one to
only
make that
time the
point.
only time we came back empty was if we deliver. See the place we were delivering to, we could go in there 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, get offloaded, took
That's what
about an
everybody
hour,
does. I think.
turn around, get back. Well, not everybody does it, but we were doing it, and we were getting back out of there, going back across the bridge, and we were getting dunnage right back to Nashville, and that was paying about $1.40, $1.46 a mile plus fuel. So we made a killing. I wish I was still doing it. It was great.
Hot shotting is such a hustle, is what Mitchell
Well,
said.
here's a good question to both of you. Knowing what you know now, if you were to start all over again, would you go hot shot or would you go semi?
Very
I would
good
go.
question.
To be honest with you, I would go with whatever makes money that I could get into in the capacity. But if I could just pick right now, I think I would do not. I would do hot shot, but at a different capacity. I would rather have run all cabin chassis trucks, like 650 series trucks, or even little like Freightliner M2s, where we could scale like 30,000 pounds, 35,000, and run air ride with at least a 48, 53 foot step decks.
Or just if you had the same money and you had no choice, you wouldn't go straight owner operators or semis. If you had a choice, you had
I mean,
all
I
your
would
money
go
back
owner
and you could
operator, owner operators all day. We have a
right.
lot of
Okay,
owner operators.
so if you could start, I know we're not there yet, but if you could start out and you had the same money back, you didn't have no Dewey sitting and you're getting into the business, would you do hot shots or semis? If you had a choice to buy either one and you had a CDL.
People are probably going to hate me for this. They're going to think I'm a
No, they're not.
uh,
It's an honest opinion because people do it for different
semi.
circumstances at that time.
Yeah,
Semis.
I think
Go ahead,
if
Chuck. He's
I
stuttering
think
around.
I think if somebody is in the hot shot business right now and they would not say they'd rather start fresh with a truck, a semi, and a 53-foot
It's
flatbed
not.
is nuts. I mean,
Right.
honestly,
Yeah.
That's what I was
But
getting. This,
the
hey,
only and let me ask you this too, um, because my opinion is it's not a money thing. Because I think on a lot of weeks we do damn close to what the semis are doing. I think it's an aggravation. We got to do more work to get the money. I
to
think
get
we
to
have to
yeah.
work harder to
I
get the
agree
money, whereas
100%.
you guys have a lot less stress.
So how much does Hotshot? AJ wants to know. Mr. Joker here wants to know how much does Hotshot make compared to a standard trucking company? You just started to talk about that.
I
Go
think I
ahead, Chuck.
think I think if you compare a owner operator that's not working for Landstar or work, it's not signed on to somebody else, just like a hot shot's not signed on to somebody else. I think the comparison's going to be close. I honestly do, so to speak, because an independent or an owner operator has to go out there and find his own work, just like that hot shotter does. He doesn't have somebody feeding it to him. It's easier for him to get contracts in a big truck than it is for a hot shotter, I think.
All
I
day,
believe that. Yeah,
all
I
day.
believe that. But if that guy's not motivated, this guy right here, if he's a motivated hot shotter, he's going to make as much as that guy's going to make. It just
I agree
depends.
100%.
It
Yeah,
depends.
What do you
but
think,
like
Frank? You
Shaggy,
agree?
like
Yeah,
you always go
yeah,
over that.
and I would never because listen to you guys talk. You know what I'm hearing
He's
here is
amazed. He's probably going to go back and like freaking just.
no. What I'm hearing you guys say, what I'm hearing you guys talk is, if we Shaggy and I get all these comments all week long in private messages, phone calls, everything. I'm thinking about getting in the trucking business, but I think I'll start out with a hot shot. Well, we've heard it so many times. It's because the truck is smaller, so they think it's easier to manage, easier to get around in.
It's
They're not
not.
gonna, they're not gonna tear the top off it going under a bridge. And
Hey guys, I
Aaron,
can't hear
like you were
Frank,
saying,
so
I can pull my boat with it on the
I might be
weekend.
lucky.
I can haul cows with it. I can go to the rodeo and look really cool. And they think of it in terms of kind of sort of like being a hobby truck. And
Exactly.
yeah. And, so from what I'm hearing you guys say, getting into the business, being new to it, I can see why that would appeal to some people. I mean, having been in the business as long as I have, to me, having the smaller equipment cuts down on your chances of doing other business. I mean, if you get up every morning, if you get up in the morning, you're in Chicago and there's, 600 loads up there, having a 53-foot, dry van or reefer, you can load them all. You can pick and choose whatever you want. Whereas having the smaller truck with less capacity, really limits your ability to pick and choose as much. I think.
Well, it's not even
That's
that.
what I'm hearing from you guys.
Well, it's not even that. Think about it. How many places a semi? Most of the time, the brokers take time to figure out where they can run and where they can't run. How many times have you guys as hotshotters went to places that was more fucked up than a semi that you couldn't even get a hotshot to? But they said, because you're a hotshotter, let's ship that air conditioner there, right? From Lennox or Train, especially in Stuttgart, Arkansas. I love that place. They give all the little ones there. They go all these places everywhere in the back alley of a freaking Pittsburgh, PA, or well,
I
not
got
even
you a
Pittsburgh,
better one, man.
Atlanta. You're running over curbs to get it in there and stuff. Go ahead. I'll shut
I
up.
got a guy that just went up some mountainous ass road on a load that he booked himself. I love the guy to death. He's a grinder. Don't get me wrong. Great guy that was owner op for us. But I tried him out dispatching himself a little bit, and he just didn't. I should have trained him a little bit more. Because he didn't ask what the commodity was, where is it going, blah blah blah. But they screwed him, man. They wouldn't take it off his truck, and they wanted it going up some damn mountainous ass road in West Virginia. Some little gravel load that went up 9% grade in the middle of nowhere. And then when they got it all picked up and he slid off the road, they were like, "Oh, we'll get an excavator to pick it up." But you know what it was reclaimed barn wood. There's a damn barn they tore down in the middle of the woods that they wanted to put on there. I would have been like, "What's the commodity?" Yeah, hell no, and hung up on him. But he booked the load, and I was cool with it, and we let it fly. He gets out there, and then they get him all on the road and everything, and he ended up messing up his transmission, getting off in the ditch, messed up his truck. Then when he drives it to North Carolina where it went, they were like, "Oh, you got to drive it through this river." Now, I don't know about you guys, and I don't mean like a creek. I mean a 40-foot, 100-foot long river that was 2 foot deep. I'd have told him, my damn truck ain't going, it ain't leaving this pavement. If we got a problem here, buddy, this shit can come off right now. If you don't want to pay me for it, so be it. I'll have this tow truck kick it off in the street. But he didn't do that, and he drove through the river and got stuck. So they had an excavator pull him through. And then on the way back, empty, he got stuck again. Needless to say, the truck's all messed up and he's not running right now. But that's what you hear the majority of Hotshot is horror stories like that. Now, when I was driving my truck, my shit didn't leave the pavement unless I knew what was going on. Because I got out in the oil field and got buried up to my nuts, and it was not fun. So I don't mess around. My truck didn't leave the pavement unless it was gravel or I knew what was going on. You know what I mean?
Come on,
But they
Chuck.
really screw with
You
us.
got
They screw
something
with us. They
better
don't
than
take
that.
us
Come on.
serious. I'm
Chuck,
sure you guys got the same thing. They don't take us serious. It's like,
Chuck,
oh, whatever, screw his truck.
help us,
I'll
Chuck.
be honest. I tell all my guys, their trucks is their livelihood. We don't take our truck on them roads. If it ain't on the highway, if it ain't in an area, I tell them do not go. I told a guy today, he was in somebody's neighborhood picking up a car. It was in a trailer, a generator. It had a welder and a generator on it, and they needed to move it. I said, go there. So he goes there, and he says, Chuck, I can't get in the neighborhood. The neighborhood's so small, it's like somebody's backyard. I said, you get as close as you can, turn on your flashers, and go to the address and tell them where you're at. So they did. They brought it out to him on a wrecker and stuck it on his truck out on the road.
So there's all that.
Away.
So my question, Frank, don't we have this stuff happen with semis?
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Oh my God, I can hear that. I thought they would have more funner stories than I had. You know what I mean? They don't. And so how do we stop that? So it goes back to the structure of programming your guys from the beginning, huh, Chuck?
That's what. Yeah, I just tell them, their truck is that's their livelihood. You wreck that truck, you can't work.
Yep.
Matt Tucker wants to know. Matt Tucker has a question for both of you guys. How much experience do you need, and what is the estimated pay? Which unfortunately, this is a guy with JB Hunt in the picture, though. Just make sure, Matt.
Right.
But how much is the pay for a hotshotter? No, I'm just messing with him. I just messing with the JB Hunt. We don't mind JB Hunt.
No. Yeah, but anyway, I'll be honest with you guys, man. I got the numbers right here to prove it on what my guys are doing. Owner operators are bringing on average. Okay, that doesn't mean they're not knocking down 3,000 a week after expenses, but on average, because it happens. But on average, they're making $1,650. That's what my guys are doing. $1,650 after truck, trailer, insurance, our cut, 5% maintenance escrow, tolls and etc. About $1,600 a week. So I mean, now I have guys that live on the road. They make an average of $2,200 a week. The fleet, it's big, so we have a median. But the middle ground, especially you new guys that are going to start out, you jump into it, you're going to be all excited when you have 1 week that you profit $3,000. You're going to be like, man, I'm killing it, blah, blah, blah. That's not the average in the bad times, the ups and downs, the rain, when the shippers screw you. The average across the fleet, if you take a month or 3 months or whatever, is about $1,600 to $2,200 a week.
I think those numbers are really solid.
If they're not there, something's wrong, man. Something's way wrong.
We could play around and say that we're making $9,000 or $10,000 a week, like all these clowns are on Facebook, but we all know that ain't real. They might have got 1 week, and they might have got lucky, and Walt Disney called them to go ahead and move an elephant for them. But I promise you, next week they ain't making nothing. That's
or they're running completely illegal to do it.
Oh yeah, well yeah, they're not using ELD.
Go ahead, Frank.
They're not
all due respect, this has been burning in my mind all night. I gotta say it because we don't sugarcoat here. We don't do it. So do dwarfs, like midgets and people like, do they do better like in the little smaller, tiny trucks than like, all right, let's say that JB Hunt driver. Let's say he's like 6'5". He's sleeping in no dually. You know what I'm saying? He might hang a leg out and dually. Whereas if you got a dwarf, a small person, I think they like to be called, I'm not sure, then that person could, ideally speaking, that might be your target driver for the whole Hotshot.
That's fucked up, man. See, nobody takes us serious, man. They're just like, it's cute, whatever. But
it's like Tiki says they only do it because they're midgets and they back up trailers. They can't back up trailers. I mean, so is that like clarified for all flatbedders? Because all the flatbedders I know that do 53 and 48 say they can't back up. They always pull through too. So I mean.
Now, you know what the thing is, though? Most of our guys been driving truck 20 years, man. They're all big truck drivers. They just wanted to drive a Hotshot. So ask them that, I guess. When I started, I didn't know shit about trucking. That's why I got into it. But a lot of these guys, for some reason, they're like downsizing. Less headaches. They're getting away from
I keep seeing this backing thing. What's up with Hotshots and they can't back, though? Can you guys back?
I've never.
I tell you what, go to a truck stop tonight, and I guarantee you, 95% of them are backed into a spot. I don't know how they got there, but they're backed in.
You answered that question earlier, Chuck, when you said they was going in the water and shit. They probably went through the field and came in the back way.
We see them all the time about how a hotshotter pull up to a gas pump, get out of the vehicle, leave it there, and go inside, and he won't. I see truckers do the same thing, so it ain't no different. It's just a person. It has nothing to do with the hotshot.
Load boards out west, which are the same load boards out Midwest and East, like Utah, you're lucky to get $1 a mile for Hotshots.
Yeah. I just sent a guy into Utah was it this year or last year? First time last year that we sent a truck to Utah, and he got like $8,000. He turned around. We didn't even look for a load. I didn't even waste my time. He just turned around and came home.
Here's a good question for you. What's the difference here's a great question for you. I love this answer because this is something hotshotters need to know. So when I have a semi, and there's shops all over the place for freight liners and stuff like that, bobbles to get work and tow to get in. What's it like having breakdowns as a hotshot? Jill brings up. Does everybody want to get you right in there and help you? Go ahead, Frank.
What?
Oh, okay, I thought you were saying something. What do you think about that? I've heard this topic come up a lot about hot shots and Dodges because do you go to the same places as semis where they're available 24/7?
You sure as hell try, but they don't want to work on your shit. And the dealers, you guys think, well, you got to take it to Dodge or Ford or whatever. Most of them got, their local stuff, and they're 2 months out or 2 weeks out. They can't even look at it. So you better know how to work on your own stuff, or you're going to have to go find some shade tree guy or the local little, Jippo garage that'll, you can front them something and get it done, or you're going to have to put it on a truck and tow it home.
What do you think, Chuck?
I agree. Yeah, It's funny you talk about me and Blake. You know, me and Blake did a run out, some oversized stuff out there to Arizona to Yuma,
I
and
seen that. There's
yeah,
3 of you, wasn't there?
yeah, and he had he had a blowout on one of his tires, or I did. One of us had a blowout, and we were at Love's there in Yuma. We went in there and was like, "Hey, you guys change tires here? Can we get a tire?" And those dudes laughed us right on out of there.
You
They
know how many
said,
times I've done that?
And the bad
"Yeah,
part is it's the only place for like 300 miles because
yeah,
everybody else is closed.
you're just going without a spare tire. That's just it." So
Dude, it's been so bad in Love's one time. I had an axle go out of a truck. I had to borrow the guy's shop tools out of Love's and do the shit myself. But they let me use their impact and their air hose. I had to pull the whole axle out of the truck in the parking lot, man, and use
Oh,
their
but what
jack.
do you do, Frank, if you're just a newbie jumping in? Because that's the way to do it with no CDL and stuff. And you're out in the middle of nowhere, big old load on, stuck in the middle of somewhere. What are the brokers going to do when you don't get there on time?
They're not going to pay you.
Huh?
Yeah.
They're
Or
not
if
going to
What?
pay
you
you.
do get it delivered, they're going to deduct the rate big time for however long
Because
you
they
was there.
probably needed you because you could get it there faster in the first place than that semi that could throw it on the back. Well,
Not always. Not always. Sometimes yes, but not always.
I know I'm just throwing it
Sometimes
out.
we're getting the
I'm
same
trying to
rate.
keep this interesting, guys. Come on. All right,
Well,
so
everybody's
everyone
making
is
sure we're
saying
lighter,
big
we're
trucks
faster.
over Hotshot. What about the? That's why I brought this up because Rebecca was talking about this. Everyone is saying big truck over Hotshots, but what about the maintenance standpoint? How much difference really is it is? You fix cost on a semi minimum is $18,000 to $22,000 a year. Where's it? Because I have a Hotshot outside in a truck. My oil changes are the same every other oil change when I have to do the extra filters in the cleaning as a semi truck, right?
Yep.
350, 400.
You're,
So my tires are
it's
damn
all
near
going to be
two,
on
three
how you
hundred
set it
dollars
up.
still.
If you have 14 ply tires and you have your shit set up right, it's about the same really. But I know most of these guys go out there and buy these trucks. They got like your truck, Shaggy, or most of them you buy 10 ply tires. They're going to burn up way faster. So it ends up being the same as a semi. They have 10 ply tires on the trailer. I don't know why they sell all these damn trailers with 10 ply. They used to sell them with 14s, but now they don't because they can get them the price now. And nobody knows. These hotshot guys buy them. They burn them up every 3 months. You know, so when we figured that out, we tell guys don't buy a trailer without at least 14 to 16 ply tires, so you don't have to worry about it for a year and a half. You know what I mean? I'm sure he ran into the same problem, but the maintenance is pretty damn close. The only and the other thing is everybody's like, oh yeah, but if that truck breaks down, it's cheaper to fix. The hell it is. These new Ison transmissions and these Dodges and these new motors and these trucks are 12, 15,000 bucks. You know what I mean? You can do an overhaul on a semi for that. You know what I mean?
A lot
So
less, actually. Top end's cheaper.
on yeah, but I'm saying like even the transmissions in our trucks are now they're 4 to 6 thousand bucks to put a new transmission in these new trucks.
What's
You
the
know,
difference in semi?
same shit. Semi
Not a
might even be
dollar.
cheaper in some cases.
That's the point. To the people against semi hot shots, then quit. No one's against it at all. We're explaining it.
Yeah,
If they
we
I
are
do it.
would
We
against
do
it,
it
they
put
don't
every
want
day.
to do
We're
the
not
work.
put
against
it in
it.
that. I've got a one ton truck. I used to pull my boat, and I ain't quit.
Yeah.
In fact, it's hooked to it right now, out behind the barn.
What was you?
So you can
Frank's
kiss my
terrible,
ass. I
Chuck.
ain't quitting. Huh?
See the military and Chuck?
Frank?
She's like,
I can't
Frank?
hear him.
oh, sorry. You have
Yeah,
to
I can't
log
hear him.
off and come back on. That's like Aaron did. For some reason, when I did that thing earlier, I said it. You want to do that real quick?
How do I do it?
Just log out and come back in like you did earlier. Just hit
Okay.
the X, then recount join back real quick.
Okay.
Frank? What'd you
What?
say? No, 3,000. Is it 3 in a semi, or you think 3 to get the training redone in a dually?
I bought a 13.
There
I
we
bought a
go.
13
Is that better?
Yeah, now I can see him.
Oh, you just said something. I told you. That's how Aaron had to do it earlier. Go ahead, Frank. Sorry about that.
I bought a 13 speed yesterday to put in the truck we're building, and from the junkyard. And just to be safe, I took it down and had it all gone through and all the everything checked. I'm basically overhauled, and the transmission cost me 1,500. The overhaul cost me 2,200.
See, it's the same shit.
Yeah, yeah,
It's the same
and
shit.
probably my labor in my shop. I've got my own shop, so my labor's $28 an hour instead of $130.
So
Right.
Melissa threw out there for Frank.
That's not for me.
So-
That's for you.
well, that was for me.
That's for you. because we've already heard all the
I need
stories
nothing
about.
back. That's what I had Melissa for.
Yeah, because we already heard all the
I did
stories
not
about.
speak up and say one time that I could back in that whole situation. I didn't even say I could unhook the trailer. All I did is say I could go from A to B to one exit ramp straight down the highway to the next exit ramp.
Because when Shaggy and Melissa used to drive a truck, she used to do all the city driving,
He did too.
all the high volume
Dude,
traffic
I
driving.
still remember the first time I woke up in front of the LA freaking Compton sign, and there was trucks on blocks across from me. And so I was like, oh my God.
I've been to Compton.
Yeah, all I had flashbacks from the Friday movies, and stuff like that.
Shaggy's not familiar with big cities, Aaron, because
Hell,
he's
until I
seen
got out of
all the
Chicago,
way
I
through.
wasn't familiar with anything from Missouri, Illinois. That was it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We got lots
I've
of
been
questions
everywhere
on here.
except up past New York. I've been to every state, every city, and I drove, but I haven't been up past New York. I didn't want to go. And I
Says,
haven't been to
come,
New York
sick
City.
hat, Shaggy. I know I like my hat. Willie's in the house. Come on, guys. I have a little person as a child. I don't know what that's got to do with the show, but you have to
I
log
mentioned
off and
little
come back
people.
on a little later. I'm getting
I mentioned
seasick.
little people. One of my
There he is.
favorite wrestlers that was going to wrestle Shaggy at one of our shows, Swaggle, is one of my
Remember
favorite
that,
little
Chuck?
people. Yeah.
What's that?
Remember that before the Dallas boot camp when Swaggle was going to kick my ass on the shows you
Yeah.
were on? The midget. All right, so Alicia says, "What the fuck, drivers take home? That's good. I'm calling you later."
That's owner operators. We're not drivers. I mean, yeah, I've had drivers do that. We paid them 25, 30%, but I got rid of a lot of my company trucks. I'm trying to phase them out and do all
See,
owner
this
ops.
this is a good point right here because Alicia jumped in and got her own authority, and she actually came to the Dallas thing right after the boot camp where I met Chuck and his lovely wife and all the people there. That was an awesome boot camp. So Alicia come in as a real estate investor and got into the business, and her first owner operator is a hotshot. But unfortunately, Alicia is having trouble with with their dispatching services, credit checking the brokers the right way, so she didn't get paid on a load, and she has drivers, and
Don't
she's
do
the
that
boss
shit.
of the company, and she's bringing on owner operators, but Judy's dispatching her.
You better credit check everybody because they're out here to screw you.
Mm-hmm. So if a
I
dispatcher,
credit check
so
them too.
here's a
Some people
question.
are again.
Here's a question. If you use a dispatching service and they sign your broker packets and they set up your loads, whose job is it to do the credit checking for the carriers? The dispatcher or the owner when the dispatcher is committing to make 8% and run the company when they have their own trucks too, but then they book a bad load and they don't do the credit check and the guy and they get paid their 8% for doing the work, but the carrier doesn't get paid. But then they know what they would go through because they have their own drivers to pay, but the other carrier still hasn't got paid for the mistake of the dispatcher. Who should take the blame?
I would trust my mom enough to make the credit checks. That's about it. Everybody else, I'm double checking. It's
But
your
who
freaking
should take
job.
the blame?
What are you
You know
gonna
how many
do? Give me
times
some
as a
free dispatching?
dispatcher, you know how many times as a
$5,000
dispatcher,
load don't pay. You gonna give me some free dispatching?
but you know how many times I gave free dispatching and I actually paid the carrier for a load when I was dispatching 30 to 50 trucks for almost 8 years? I only had it happen like 2 or 3 times because if you go to my load sheets that I have that I do in my training, that I gave Chuck, remember Chuck? It says right here, this load is not allowed to be booked. If this shit ain't signed off on, it's not credit checked. If somebody didn't do this shit, we have a problem. It's a
We're gonna
very
have a big
simple
problem.
process when you're booking a load, right? That's that you
Yep.
don't ever book a load or even take the load until it's
You
credit
know,
checked. So
that's cute. Tell her. I don't know how long she's been doing it. Well, I guess I can tell her, but that happened to me one time. It was like my first week. Never did it again. You don't make mistakes like that. If you like money, you know what I mean.
mhm. So because there's a reason why the broker don't pay. If they need a CDL or not, I see. Hold on.
They need one.
So many of these hotshot guys in the hotshot groups can't even figure out if they need a CDL or not. I see them argue about this all the time. It makes me think that there's a reason for going hotshot.
They're all stupid. They need one. Period. I'll tell every one of them right to their face in a truck stop parking lot. Get a damn CDL. The way I made a video on this
You
actually.
know what's bad too? It's so easy to get it too.
That's the thing. I went to a
It's so easy. Like I did
certificate.
not even know it was that easy until about, and I've been doing this forever. You guys know that. I did not know to add the air brakes and I mean to do the thing with what it's like 15 minutes, man. You pass the test, you go and borrow a guy's truck, and you're
Now
done.
it's state by state. I did have a guy out of like Oregon hit me up the other day on the CDL video. It got a lot of views. He was like, "Now, can I go to a different state to get it because they have to take like a 160-hour course or
Ah,
some nonsense?" But I was like, "Yeah, I would go to a different state, move in with somebody. You know what I mean? Whatever, take it." But I've helped several people get their CDL. You can do it in that dually. We used to let them get them in our trucks, my friends and stuff, to work for us. But take the little paper questionnaire test. Take the truck down there, do your pre-trip, and your thing done. You got a Class A CDL. You don't have to have air brakes. Now, you're restricted. You're not going to drive a big truck, but you can drive that truck legally. Now, there's a lot of guys that have been on the farm and driving horse trailers and everything else their whole life. They're probably safe and they're fine, but they're going to get busted and have a thing on their license because they didn't get a CDL and it would have took 20 minutes.
So do you have to get a health certificate too? Like
Yeah, you have
like
to have a
more often?
medical card.
A
To get a
medical
Class
card.
A, it's the
Yeah.
same
How
thing.
often do you have to get it? Like every 24 years or what?
It's for life, man. That's what they do for Hot Shots. They give it to us for life. You know what I mean? It's cool. You should check it out.
They
I'm
just
I'm
just
asked me
trying
if
to figure out. He ain't had one
I
in
needed one.
35
I said
years.
no. They said okay.
yeah. I should still be legal for a little tiny truck then, Shaggy. Because
What is it?
24 years.
24 years. I had to
We
do
should
a
have
brake
came on.
job on the
Hey,
hot
we
shot. It
should
was
have came on here and screwed
1750.
with them, man. You know what we should have said to be Hot Shots, man? We should have. You don't need numbers, no medical card, no CDL. We should have done what everybody else does. We just, we run at night, pedal to the metal, 100 mile
I've
an
been
hour, baby.
asking you
Screw these
motherfuckers for
instructors.
2 hours to tell me why somebody would want to be in a CDL in a high shot rather than a regular big
That's
truck.
the only
And
reason he's
now,
No,
still
I
after
on
told
two
you
here. He
hours,
why.
skipped.
now you're telling me.
I
Now
know.
you're telling me.
I know. He fucking skipped dinner, fucking the Chiefs winning the football, Super Bowl, and everything, just to have you two fuckers on here to tell him why. Look, he's eating crackers and shit just because he's so excited. Hold on.
Hey,
I'm
I
eating
told you
crackers.
why. I just didn't tell you a good enough answer, I guess, man. They're not smart. They just want to, like I said, keep the truck for the house and for that, or they think it's easier.
Do
That's
you
the
guys see
that's the
this,
bottom
Rob? You see this about the hot shotting with the minimum money that's in hot shotting? It's very important to do your own maintenance. That's why we brought that up. Robert Stanley says I had to do a 1750 brake job on his truck, but Rebecca right down here
can't
says,
do that.
"Dang, good thing my husband was a diesel mechanic for 25 years. We have never paid that amount." That would be a maintenance when you're doing hot shot, limited to the
Gotta
freight
have
and
it
what you
done.
could do. It's very important to think about getting a hot shot. How many people do you think actually think about how they're going to get it fixed? Will they get tows? Where? And
Shaggy,
maybe go ahead.
the brake thing, man. Guy did it himself. Is he certified? We have the same audits as you guys now. Same shit, buddy. You got to have them brakes done by a professional. Everything else, oil changes, transmission, all that, I'm all about it, bud. But brakes, you got to have done professionally.
Keep going. What else you got to tell these guys about getting into hot shotting? Guys, and it's open. Hold on. It's open floor. This is Chuck Watkins with 402 Transport, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then Aaron Money Penny, both of them been in the business. One is that how many trucks you get?
Who, me?
Chuck?
I have
6?
7 right now.
7? Man,
Yes.
one semi, 6 hot shots, right?
Check. Yes.
Yep. And then you have
8.
and you're bringing on more semis here real quick, right?
We're bringing on 3 trucks this week.
I know. 2 of them I know, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, that's awesome. And so what's the
And we've
suggestions
had
and
both.
tips?
We're
Tell
not,
these
we're
people.
primarily a hot shot company. We've had semis, in the past and have one now, but we just want to get more of them. We want to get more trucks all the way around, hot shots too, if they're legal 40-footers
With CDLs.
with CDLs and experience.
And funny thing is I have a couple. I have 2 trucks that are not 1 tons, but the drivers are still CDL drivers. Okay, I mean it's a
Good.
gimme. You have to be. If you're not, you're setting yourself up for failure to try to run underneath the radar as a non
Yeah.
CDL driver.
Why?
You're driving commercially.
Yeah.
That's the word, commercially. You're driving commercially. Why are you going to do it without a commercial license? I mean,
Yeah.
that doesn't make sense. I mean, but
I
people are
made
doing
a
it. So
I made a video the other day that said I think Uber drivers should get it, man. You get in an Uber, you're scared to death, man. But if you're driving anything, you should
That's
have
why
some
Frank's
sort of
got gray hair.
commercial license with training.
Frank, what do you got with hotshotting? What's the myth that's still myth? I mean, I still don't understand it. You know what I mean? I understand why they're there because I deal with a lot of Linux and I know the guys at Stuttgart for years, man. Like I know those guys use so many hotshots there in
It's
Dallas
all
and
hot
other
shot.
Linux,
Like 90%
Atlanta.
hot shot at Linux. Linux and Train and all these guys, man, it's like 90% hot shot.
I
I
know it
think you
is.
guys
I
don't
know the
realize
guys
how
that are
big the
there.
market is, man.
I understand. I know all those guys that do that. They all have, like in Stuttgart, I'm very familiar with the in-house brokers that are right there on the plant's property.
Yeah. So it's one of those things, man. I
I
think
see
we have,
hot shots hauling lawnmowers in crates right now. The dealerships like it's going out of style, man.
dude, I'm
Like out
hauling
of Heston,
lawnmowers,
Kansas,
four
Overland
wheelers,
Park,
jet skis.
Sumner, South Carolina, Atlanta, Georgia, south of Atlanta. There's more and more now that there's so many doing more and more of those loads because they'll split them up on a hot shot and they'll stack them up instead of putting them on a semi, and they can just get them easier to the stores.
Yeah. One of the big things I'll tell you guys, especially you new guys, man, that don't even know this, man. But for some reason, and it's probably because of all the illegal jerk offs doing stuff in the YouTube situation. But he'll probably vouch for this too, man. You go to Houston or a lot of these places where the hot shots are like a hub, especially Texas, Dallas, and Houston. They're getting to where all the load board stuff is no hot shot, no hot shot, no hot shot. They've been burnt and screwed so many times by loads getting impounded or whatever the reason is, guys' insurance lapsing and wrecking or whatever. They won't even, I mean, we can call and get them because we've done stuff for them and they know us. But, some guy trying to set up a packet with them or whatever, they're not going to get that load because they have a hot shot. They're going to put it on a
So I'm
semi.
not familiar with these YouTube guys. I'm familiar with the Instagram and the Facebook and the broker training guys and dispatching. But what are these YouTube guys doing? That's so bad. That's coming in. Just telling them.
There's guys on there. Google 10,000 a week in hot shot. YouTube hot shot right now and see what pops up. There's so many douchebags. They're running around doing videos and they're talking about, yeah, I did 10,000 a week, or I did this, or I did this, or what a real week looks like in hot shot. But what they don't have in the picture, there's a guy sets up a little thing and everything. He's real cool, and they don't have any logos, no MC numbers. I guarantee you they're not running an ELD. They don't have a CDL. In fact, they say they're not a CDL hot shot. But they don't have IFTA. Do they even have insurance? How the hell are they getting these loads? You know what I mean?
Right here. Are you doing any dispatching still for 40-foot hot shots with CDLs, Aaron? Is what Alicia's code word is.
Yeah, we can help.
Is your Angie going to help any guys do dispatch or anything to diversify here?
Everybody. With what I'm doing now with the consulting thing, I'm doing everything for free. I'll help anybody. You know what I mean? With the dispatching thing, we're going to do $250 a week. Flat out.
Is Angie going to do any of that? Are you guys? Well, she don't do any of that now, but are you guys going to do any of that too? You're just sticking straightly to your trucks, right? The ones that lease on.
We're just building a company.
Yeah, you're just building your own trucking company, keeping it all in house. Yep.
Yeah.
So you're taking on owner operators.
We are taking on drivers and operators, but we're not doing any outsourcing. And I'll tell you why.
Go ahead.
I did it when I first started. Before I come to your camp, we started this thing and we tried that. Let's go get us a dispatcher, and I did it. I did it with one of them clowns that are on Facebook all the time, and how he's going to get us $6,000, $7,000 a week.
That.
Okay, and I tried it just because.
It.
And the only reason I tried it is because I wanted to see, because I was building my company. So I went ahead and tried it, and I put 2 trucks on there out of the 4 that we had, and I put 2 trucks on there, and this clown couldn't get us 2 loads a week. Because I got too many of my own trucks right now, but I'll get to you guys.
There's only one that I've found in 4 years, and he won't take fleets. He'll only do one guy, one owner operator that owns the truck and drives the truck. And I've been trying to get a hold of him. I'm not going to tell you who he is because that's a sweet secret. But if you call me, I will. But he won't take on fleets. I tried, man, but they're killing it. And he has huge contracts that he's been around for like 15, 20 years, and he only dispatches hot shots. As far as I know, he might do big trucks. But he has some big contracts. I mean, stuff that they ain't never going to put on a load board ever. And he has no problem booking, 6 to 8 grand a week every week.
What good stuff do they put on the load boards, anyways? Oh, I was just making sure.
It depends on where you're at, I guess, and if they're in a bind and they couldn't get their truck to cover it or whatever.
No, it doesn't.
Still leftover.
Well,
we
work off of it.
Yeah, but we already started talking about it. That's why you're wanting to do the next level, get your brokerage to do stuff so you take advantage of those assets and do something, didn't we?
Well,
I mean, you got on the phone with me at Caterpillar.
Yeah, the only reason I want to get my brokerage because I have customers now they call me, and if there's time, I book a truck on it. They pay me good rate.
What
But the
about
only
more?
reason is because sometimes they'll call me and it makes me cry, man. They're like, I got to have this covered today, or first thing, and I don't have a truck close enough, and I'd like to be able
Chuck,
to
you
put it on
got
a
yours
low board.
going, don't you, Chuck?
Yeah, mine's in the work. Yeah.
Yeah, both of them. And that's the exact reason, because when you start going to customers with 8 trucks and 6 trucks and you want to promise them what you could do for them, how are you going to back it up?
And the
Legal
problem
or
is,
the right way. We can all do it the wrong way.
yeah, and the problem
Right.
for him and
But even
I,
with, even with
and I
15
know
trucks,
Hold
we
on,
had
hold on,
15
hold
for
on,
our big
Chuck. Go ahead first.
and I know Aaron's in the same boat that I'm in. I can have all the customers here in Oklahoma that I want, but once I get
Right.
them to Florida, I got to get them back. And
Right.
so I'm not as acceptable to getting freight from Florida, so to speak, because I'm
Right.
not there. I'm not
Right.
operating in that lane. So I have to have a way to get it back. So yeah, do I have to use a load board? Sometimes, we do. I mean, you have to. For us,
Everybody does, but
we
it's a
have to.
tool. It's a
We
tool
have to
to
get our
eventually
trucks back
get you
some
to
kind
make.
of way, or back to a better position
But
to get them
eventually,
back home.
can you have customers on all ends and not even have to ever use the load board?
You
That'd be
should.
great.
It'd be great.
That'd be great.
I think you're
I use
still going to
Where
have
is
time. And
where is Chuck
Frank probably
located?
knows this.
Chuck,
Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City,
And Aaron's in Florida.
Yeah, South
fortunately.
Florida. But
Where?
most of my trucks are out of Georgia.
He's out of South Florida.
Yeah. But we don't have like a big home terminal where I bring, because if my guys come down here, they dead head out anyway. If I have run generators out of Chicago area, and we
Here's a
bring
good
them all
question
down
for
here
you.
all the time, and we make good money. They make enough that they dead head to Atlanta or Jacksonville. We don't even try to get a load out of Miami or nothing.
Freddie wants to know what you've heard about this. I know Aaron's got experience.
Yeah, we leased 3 of them, man, and it's impossible. It's almost impossible to make money. That's what those guys on YouTube are doing, man. They're leasing those trucks, and then they're telling you what they make and their breakdown and their gross. But what they do is they charge you like $500 a week. It's a long-term lease, right? They usually start on like a 90-day contract, and they bring the truck in for you, and they want to swap them out every 50,000 miles, which is kind of a pain in the ass. But then they charge you mileage. Like, I think we got our deal down to 9 cents a mile, but some guys were paying like 15 cents, I hear on YouTube and stuff. So you end up paying 700 to $1,000 a week for that truck. And the biggest, even on the numbers, when we were doing it, we couldn't make any money. But I've seen these guys talking about they're doing it, and on their breakdown, if they're grinding, they're never coming home ever. They live on the road. They seem to be making a small profit. But here's the thing: all those guys are running illegal because Enterprise is almost impossible to get a portion plates from. I can't, that I know of. I could be wrong. I tried to go get the plates on the truck. We couldn't do it. Enterprise had to do it because we didn't own the trucks, right? So they wouldn't let us get the portion plates on them and get all the IFTA and everything that we needed to run them legal. So that was a big problem. Then the other thing is Enterprise wants you to take those trucks to Firestone to get the maintenance done. That's the only place you can take them, which Firestone is all over the country. Don't get me wrong. But the problem with that is, you get an appointment set up, say you're in wherever, and they won't be able to do the oil change and
Can I
stuff
get a
until
drink?
tomorrow.
No, I don't
So
want
you're
no
down
tea.
for 2-3 days waiting on them to
No,
get
hey, I
your
got a
truck
cup
in,
right
and they
there.
take all day to do oil change. And you have to get it done because if they have a tracker on the truck, if you go over 10,000 miles, like 10,001 mile, they start charging you penalties on the lease.
Sounds like about the same deal with trying to do a lease on a big truck. I mean, they tear your ass up in the fine print, all the
Yeah.
way down the thing. Can't do
Yeah,
anything
that's
with
like
it.
those Penske trucks. You see guys pulling Penske trucks. How the hell? I looked into that. That's like, how is that even possible?
It's very, very hard at $5,400 a week, and you have to pay $3,800 a week for freaking $900 for a payment, or $1,000, and then you got $400 for insurance, $1,500 for fuel, and then he's still going to have a fixed cost on top of that. Then you go and put a driver in a truck, that's $1,500, so you're still at $4,200 cost, and you don't have any networks yet, so you're out right now.
Yeah, you see them though. You see them on the road. Those rider leases, they're just as bad. How do people make any money doing that? I don't know, but I know with the Enterprise thing, if I were you, if you wanted to do it just to see what Hotshot is like, make sure you get a portion plates, make sure you get IFTA. That's going to be a pain in the ass to get them to lease. You want to do all that, but try it out, I guess. But with the they have a special deal with the local two or three companies in Elkhart that they haul the campers, so they get like a 5 cents a mile instead of the higher mileage, and they're so they can make it work for like $600 a week, but the campers don't pay nothing. So those guys go up and come
They
out,
just
go up and
recycle.
come
I
out.
see them getting I'm right there, man. They're getting recycled left and right. Guys, if any of you guys are interested in talking to Aaron Money Penny at Money Penny Trucking, that's his info right there. It's on the screen. And he's taking owner operators too, and he'll help you with some questions and asking. I know Chuck's taking on owner operators with his company. His information's right there. But we're still going to stay on and ask more questions for another 10, 15 minutes if the guys will stay. So I'm going to give you guys one last blast to rip out some questions about hot shotting, what's going on, what's happening. But if anybody's having a hard time with their business or their insurance is too high, you guys, I think, Chuck, will you answer questions if they got one
Yeah,
too?
hit me up. I'll answer whatever you guys need, whatever I can.
No. So you got Chuck, and we'll have them on. I'm going to have these guys continue over this next year, come on about once a month or something, and tell us how they're doing with their business and what they got going on. And we're going to keep helping the hot shotting side of the business because I'm honestly, they all know I know the business, but I didn't drive a hot shot. I didn't live on the road with a hot shot. Man, I didn't know what it's like chaining that, strapping that stuff down. I know what it's like to add on owner operators. I know what it's like to go get customers. I know what it's like to all the other stuff, the safety compliance and do it and everything else involved. But until you experience a hot shot and have to deal with hot shots and do multiple picks and all that stuff and deal with all the things they have to go to, it's still not the same, is it?
Nope,
It'll
it's
never be
totally
the same.
different.
I would think as hard as it is to find drivers these days, anyway, trying to find a bunch of midgets would be even harder. I don't. There's some guys in wrestling. There's like a group that's got like 400 of them. Probably call them up. I
Think
don't
we ought to
know.
try. We'll throw some instant messages out and see if we can get some guys that way.
Probably get them. I mean, I don't know what lot lizards think about those little things. I know you get them. Some of those lot lizards are pretty damn big.
Probably a
You
lot of
try to get.
fun.
That's like a new saying, I think, in the trucking industry because I've been in this industry so long. I started most of the slang you hear. Like I heard that. That's because I was running with a guy down in Miami one night. And he was deaf, but he thought I was. He kept repeating everything. I said I heard that. Now you hear it on the CB radio all the time. So we're going to start a new thing. We're going to start a new thing now about lot lizards and doodles,
And midgets and hot shots. Yeah.
midgets and hot shots.
That's the show coming up next time.
Next
Midgets
week,
and hot
next
shots
week
and
it's going to
wild
be
lizards.
midgets and hot shots. We probably won't have as many people tuned in, but the people that are tuned in will be a lot of fun. Bunch of fun little motherfuckers. We'll just make it a damn party.
Hold on, we got more questions. Big thing about insurance. How can people on insurance? Because I already know about like insurance, but insurance with hot shots. Where's the misconception on it being different than trucks,
It's not.
semis, and hot
I don't know
shots?
about. I don't know about you, man, but with us, the semis are coming back pretty close. Quote to the hot shots, man. It's based on the MVR, the person, the state that they're out of, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, our trucks are running from 700 to 1,000 for our hot shots, and our big trucks running about 14. So
Yeah.
it kind of depends.
But it
It,
always falls back to credit, experience, location, all that
every
stuff.
one of them's independent. They're independent operators. Every one of them's on their own. I mean, it has nothing to do with our company. It has to do with their driving record, their vehicle, their trailer.
Right.
That's what it's going to go off of.
Yeah, and it also has to go off your MC, how long you've been in business too. That's a huge factor. And your safety score. Your safety score. I just went out of a really bad insurance situation where we were getting raped too with Berkshire Hathaway and switched to Progressive. And one of the biggest thing was our loss runs. We had like three, incidences on our loss runs that messed us up. But this year we didn't have any. So next year we should get better rates. But they're saying insurance is going through the freaking
Hello.
roof. So I don't know. But I know when we had loss run
In
problems
a
or we had
minute.
other issues, that made
On
it
the
go
thing
up. Our
right now,
safety
but
score
yes,
was
I
really
will.
high. We've gotten that way down to
Yeah, baby.
counterbalance, affect that this year and try to come up with a better plan. So our safety score is down, and we're paying about 1,000 to 1,200 a month. But I know that if I get an older guy who's never had a ticket, never had a problem, and has better credit. I know they say you're not supposed to check the credit and stuff, but they do, and they seem to do a better job on that. It's a little cheaper than these
Well,
guys that come
it
on
has a
and
big
maybe they're
thing too,
newer
though.
or they haven't had a CDL but for 2 years or a year or something. Those guys are more expensive.
But you guys all understand, man. When you guys hit your renewal, you don't even reach a fleet status until you're at your renewal with the losses down, safety score good, credit high at 10 trucks or more. You won't even see a few. You could be 5 years in business
Right.
and be under 10 trucks as a fleet and never even see a drop in rates. You could be still floating at that 1,000 to 1,500, 1,400,
I almost
1,300.
made it to fleet status this year, and then we had one guy leave right before we were requoting, and we had 9 trucks instead of 10. But I was so excited to get a fleet quote, and we got screwed by one guy, man.
It happens, man. I've seen a lot of new things happening too with insurance when I talk to Nick and Alex and these guys, where when you're starting authority and you're doing stuff, having somebody with a really awesome credit, just piggybacking the company has been helping these people. And I see a lot of stuff getting ready to come out with e-logs and having e-logs with your company. A lot of policies based off mileage because
Yeah,
the insurance
we have
companies
progressive in there.
are going after the e-log company and they want the data for the tracking. So, fleet status, e-logs and mileage and talking to your insurance people is very, very important.
Well, we're looking at a new company this year. I don't know if you've heard of them. I think they were called. It's been a couple days since I talked about it's Pinnacle or something. But it's like 5,000 down, and they charge you a flat rate for every truck you add. There's no increase.
I think there's a bunch. We got one
Yeah.
that they got one that Nick and them are using where you go in and you have all your drivers clean. They do drug testing. You do your safety through them, and they're dropping lower rates. But you have to
Yeah.
do that stuff through them, and then you have to do it like quarterly so they know what's going on and they pay really attention to your safety. That just goes to show you it goes back to the agent. A lot of these people that are making comments about insurance, your agent painting a picture of your history, your military, your credit, how long you've been in business. You're not fly by night. It's very, very important when you come to underwriting. Remember, underwriters that decide your rates are just human, right?
Yeah.
Following a system.
All these new guys are getting screwed because they don't have access to the prime carriers. They're all doing subprime because they're brand new with new MC numbers and stuff. So they're dealing with the more expensive rates.
What'd you
And
say, Frank? Go ahead.
So are you guys looking for owner operators to lease on under your authority, or are you like looking for people with their own authority and you're just going to run them? What's your preference?
owner operators to lease on under my authority.
Yeah,
Same
we're
thing, Chuck.
most of. Go ahead. Sorry.
I
Same thing,
agree.
Chuck.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
we're like my
what
group
is
is
your
totally
deal? Do
turning
you pay
against the whole.
do you pay for plates? Do you pay for insurance, or do you back charge the driver for what is your deal?
Good questions. And while you're at that, answer this question too. While you're doing that, looking to start up, what are some key components about starting a hotshot business? And if they are starting, well, why would it be good to lease on with one of you guys instead of starting out so they get the ropes?
Let's start with your percentage or mileage or however you pay first, because that's a big question.
Hot shots for us are coming in at 20% after 6 months. We give them another five. So we do an 85-15. After a year, we do a 90-10 split. Semis, we're bringing on at 90-10. If the semi guys have experience a long term, we're allowing them to dispatch themselves. The hot shot guys, we won't, just because, a lot of new guys come on and it's a freaking nightmare. And they would want to leave in a week if they couldn't dispatch, if they tried to do it themselves.
So at 90-10, are these guys are you back charging them for their insurance or like are the
Yeah,
license plates
they're gonna
all
have to,
that?
right. They're gonna have to pay their own fuel and everything, and we're back charging them for the insurance. There's no down payment or anything. We can buy plates, but we charge them back.
What about fuel? Have you got a fuel card for the guys? Any discounts?
I do, but it's tabs and it's not that good, so they can get better on their own.
Okay.
So we do the same deal. We have the 80-20. We do the apportion plates. We back charge them for those. We do the IFTA. We take care of all the IFTA.
Yeah, we do
We
pay the
take care of
IFTA too.
we take care of all the ELDs. We put them in all the trucks. We track all that stuff. We do the insurance, but we're back charging them their portion of the insurance. We pay the company insurance as far as the actual cargo insurance and the general liability. That's part of our 20%. So we're paying that, but they're paying their truck commercial insurance.
Like the physical
So
bobtail, whatever.
we don't do that. We charge them for their cargo and their liability as well, and they have to have their own bobtail.
We do that too, but we pay a portion of that that's part of the company, and we
Okay,
break
I
the
got you.
account down where they just pay what they're quoted by Progressive or whoever your insurance is. We take care of the actual company portion of it.
Yeah, we have $1 million liability umbrella for the whole company, and we have like trailer interchange and stuff that we pay. That's not a big deal. But as far as the actual cargo and liability on that unit, we charge it back to them.
Right.
Do either one of you guys have trailers and that you can provide some of these guys?
Dude,
Maybe
I
rent.
wish I'd have 10 more people tomorrow, man. That's a big problem in the hotshot game because you can't go to like places and just snap them up like that, like you can with
Right.
trailers. There's only like one finance company. I think it's Shield, or I can't think of it, that finances all the trailers. It's the same finance company. It's one of the only ones in the country that'll do those goosenecks. And I don't care if you're buying a PJ, a Big Tex, a Low Trail, whatever. It's the same finance company. So it's hard to, and there's nobody doing lease purchase on them or owner financing them there's nobody out there.
I've never heard of nobody, and I know everybody. I'm telling you. Go ahead. So we got a question. Let's get to this. So both of you guys are about the same. It doesn't really matter about comparison. Which one? The only thing I think is the guy doing 10% on semis is fucking nuts. But that's all right. I'm allowed to think that. So looking to start out, I would do the same across the board because the risk is so high with compliance, safety, and people trashing my authority. The only thing I might do is lower it from 20 on a semi to 15 if he brought his own trailer and did his own dispatching. Otherwise, I would do 20 across the board because number one, you're already going to run into problems with people saying whether it's hot shot or not. Why am I getting this? This guy's getting that. I pay for the same stuff. I'm just telling you in the future.
The hot shots, we're dispatching them. In my opinion, they're a pain in the ass. And I've
I
tried,
understand.
and semi guys are like, you're effing crazy.
You'll find out they're just as much as a pain in the ass. So it's all good. Well, you tell me in a couple months. Go ahead, Chuck.
I've talked to a couple of big company hotshot guys that are, you got Acme out there. We got a couple big ones out here that do a lot of oil field stuff. They're at 70-30.
Oh yeah,
and they have unlimited
big contracts. Though the rate it's going to pay it a little bit better,
right? But then I go look at FMCSA over here, and I look at the 45 companies
one
that
of their
take.
drivers called me the other day. He ran three loads in the last 30 days. 3. That's it. Out and nothing coming back because they deadhead back.
But we drop our rate as our trucking.
See, I used to live in Clarksville, Arkansas, right on the border, right about 3 hours from Oklahoma City. I don't know where you're at, but we did a lot of Oklahoma stuff, and I had a lot of Oklahoma friends. But that's what they did. They ran out there in West Texas and stuff in the oil field and deadheaded back. And some of them were making money, some of them won't, but it was seasonal. It went up and down, A lot of guys went up.
But the logic behind it is every day me and Frank talk about the 30 pages, the 45 to a page of people that had their authorities established and not. And how much is that worth to risk your livelihood to make the privilege of $50,000 or $40,000 a year to lower the price of your commission to jeopardize your business to put somebody on when it really is a lot harder than what people think? Because the people that are out there knocking down that are saying they're paying 7,000, 8,000 and all this stuff, I guarantee they're running. Look at their safety scores and see how well they're doing and see if they're here in 3 years.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. I've seen them come and go. I've been at it a long time now, so.
Here, we got more questions. I got 4 years experience, flatbed and step deck experience. That's awesome, Matt. Where are you guys all from?
Kyle Hackney, to answer your question, looking to start up, what are some key components to be aware of?
Oh, yeah.
If I were you, just from what I'm seeing here and hearing from these guys, if I were you, I would call one of these two guys. We put their numbers up earlier.
I'll put them up again.
Where are you guys from? Chuck is in Oklahoma. Aaron's in Florida, but I don't think he cares where you live. What I'm hearing. But call one of these guys, and if you've already got a truck, maybe lease it on to these guys to get started and learn the ropes, Let them help you out.
Truck you're looking at.
Even if you don't lease on to us, lease on to somebody that knows what they're doing for a little while before you start your own shit, especially in hot shot, because you're going to be out. I would say that, I don't know about you, Chuck, but I would say at least 80% are out of business in 90 days to 6 months.
It's actually 86%, just so you know.
I bet. Yeah, at least.
I got proof.
You know, lease on to one of these guys at the rates they're sitting here quoting right now, and they know where to get you freight and where not to get you freight. You ought to lease your ass onto them and stay there.
He
They're
says
right
I'm
there.
from Missouri, no truck yet. Well, when you get the truck and you have a CDL
We were
or
talking
Pittsburgh,
about numbers. We were talking about numbers, Shaggy, and you know, I'm going to do a video tomorrow, probably actually breaking down some better numbers. But here, I'll give you an example on your scenario. The semi does 5,400
we're
a
not
week at
allowed to.
$1.50
If you
a
do
mile.
numbers on my show, Melissa is watching, and you're going to learn the more and more you get into consulting about all those guys on YouTube that are watching. They don't know numbers and they don't know the truth because you came to my stuff. So as you become the trucky guy a little further, you're going to learn that if the more you start talking about numbers and stuff publicly on these shows with getting carried away, the more and more your stuff gets out there.
Yeah. Well, what we're going to talk about is about the average for our fleet is $1.60 a mile and about $4,000 a week. You know, and that's where I'm getting my numbers at, where they're bringing home $1,650 a week. Now that doesn't mean that we don't have guys doing an average of $225 a mile, knocking down 7,000 a week. We do, but it's not an average. That's a guy that's grinding.
But when it comes down to the bottom line, you're making $1,600 to $2,200 a week, and if they're running a Hotshot right now and they're not fucking doing that, they should probably pick up the phone and call you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of being public.
I believe what Aaron's saying is true, but the problem is that probably 75 to 80% of those hot shotters out there aren't making $1.60 a mile.
Yep. And I'm not going to say
they'll
we
tell
don't
you
have
they
guys
are,
doing
but they're not.
$1.35 a mile.
No, yeah,
They're
they
not.
might say they are, but they're not.
No, they're not. They're full of shit. And you know how I know is because some of my guys some weeks average $1.39 a mile. You know, $1.29 a mile on some roads. But it's got to be an average. What's your average?
What kind of truck is best?
What kind of truck is best? I personally think that the Dodge is the best. I've owned them all. I've had brand new Dodges, 2017s, 18s. I've had F350s, my personal trucks, not owner operators. I owned them. But I think the Dodge got the best gas mileage and was reliable with the Ice and transmission. But
he's got a Class A CDL, 12 years clean MVR, only got a seatbelt ticket. I mean, are you looking for a job to work for one of these guys?
Get a truck. Get a hold of me.
Yeah, get a hold of either one.
But the Ford too, man. I had a Ford with the 6.7 fully loaded Lariat. That was my baby. I loved it. Thing blew up at 50,000 miles. Now Ford put a new motor in. They couldn't figure out why it did it, but it took them 2 freaking months to do it. And I lost a bunch of money.
That's my personal vehicle.
Yeah, I love it.
I haul my boat with it and my camper.
I got rid of it when
I'm passing you guys on vacation while you still have to stay out and work. Right, Frank?
No, I've got a dually with a Lone 454 in it.
Big Chevy.
Gotta pull my boat with it. Pull my boat with it.
Is that why your semi's parked?
My semi?
Parked, right?
It's parked because I don't let other people drive it.
Well, I know that. I was just making fun. Can't you go with me? Come on, man. Jeez.
Huh?
I said, what do you got? Some 800 horsepower million truck or something all souped up you won't let nobody touch?
My big truck?
Yeah.
It's only about 630 horsepower. It's not about horsepower. It's about torque.
Yeah.
It'll run.
Yeah, Matt says he's got your number. Dually or single wheel?
Dually all day.
Yeah.
I agree.
Hey
guys,
Chuck,
it's
you were
real.
saying something about some smaller trucks. You running 3/4 tons, or what are you running?
I have two. I have two 3/4 tons. They're both exactly the same trucks. They're buddies. They both got the same truck. They got the same trailer.
What are you pulling, 30-footer or 25-footer with that?
32? They're running 32.
32s?
Yeah.
I did that before. It just seemed like it was a little hard, you know, so I quit doing it.
It's hit and miss. It's hit and miss with
I
them
think
guys.
if you're going to do that, you got to have a guy that has some patience because, you know, like Shaggy always says, you let them guys sit in the truck stop, they start thinking, and then they want to quit and how hard you're not working. Even though you made them money last week and the week before, they think you suck today. I had one of my guys tell me, man, I'm getting out of this shit today. I said, you say that every week, every fucking week. Last week, you made almost $3,000 after expenses. You know what I mean? Like, he's one of my grinders, but he said that today,
Again,
man. This
I've
shit ain't
never
no money
actually
in it.
done a show this late, but I had to go watch my daughter sing for the Rose Holman Engineers. I didn't even know fucking Rose Holman Engineers had a
Well,
basketball
baby,
team.
I gotta go. The dog's gonna pee.
All right, Frank, peace out. We're gonna finish this up. We got one more tour. We still got a couple questions coming in. Question: the freight is not where it used to be partial. Partial is where it's at. Is that wrong, or is it respectable hustle to get $2 a mile? I left it up so you guys can read that, decipher that.
I think any more partial. It depends on what they're talking about. Because if you're going to your customer, your direct freight, you could probably hit $2 partial all day long. But if they're talking the load boards that they're watching, a partial is never ever going to give them $2 anymore on the load board. Not right now. You're not
The
seeing two
highest,
dollars
the
for a
highest, the
partial.
highest, the highest I can book a partial for in the last couple of weeks has been like $1.80
Yeah.
a mile, and that was because they really needed it. They
And
wouldn't
you're
go no lower.
combining loads to make that money to get that average too, right?
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's the thing.
Yeah.
You book a load for $1 and a load for 60 cents, or say you book one for 80, and what, you know what I mean? So that's how we make it work. But that's where we're getting that $1.60 average. But I'll just say that to answer that question, um, that why would you pay on empty miles? I don't really understand that question. We do deadhead miles in with our rate. So if you book a load that's $2 a mile, but you deadheaded 170 to go get it, it's not $2 a mile. You got to add
It's a
that
buck 30.
mileage. Yeah, exactly. So that's why when people call me and they're like, "Oh, everybody's out here talking about $2 and $3 a mile," and then they call me, they don't want to work for me because I told them $1.60. But when they tell me, oh, I deadheaded, like Landstar, for instance, right? You sign on to them, they're one of the biggest hotshot fleets, I think, man. And they do like a 65-35 split, if I'm not mistaken. And you have to book your own freight through them with a hotshot now, okay? The only thing they don't tell you, they're like, oh, you get some better, blah, blah, right? And then you call them and they'll tell you last year's average was $2 a mile, which is great. That's awesome. Hell, I would sign all my trucks on with them if that was the case. What they won't tell you, though, is if I say, how much did you deadhead last year? They'll say, oh, we don't know that number. You know what I mean? And what was the weekly average, revenue wise? Because that's very important. You could do, $5 a mile and only make $500. You know what I mean? So you got to have revenue as well. It's very important. But like Landstar, for instance, I have guys come over that are in their hotshot fleet come over to us all the time because their average deadhead over there is like 400 miles. You know what I mean? Because they just don't. You can only book on their load board. So they'll book a load, take you somewhere, and the next hotshot load or the lightest load on their load board is in 350, 400 miles away. So
What's the
that's
latest
not
year
$2 a
dually that
mile. It's a
truck
dollar thirty a
you
mile.
will sign on?
I
I don't
think
know.
I
I'm
have.
honestly,
Go ahead,
I'm wanting
Chuck.
to get rid of the
Hold
older
on, I
trucks.
got. Go ahead, Chuck. You're
I
first.
think. I think the oldest one that we have is a 17. No, it might be an 18 because I had the 17 and I just traded mine in for a 20. But, huh? We have a 17. So we do have a 17. My wife just corrected me. So that's the oldest that we have, and but we have no maintenance problems, and that's the key for Hotshot. Now you can start with a 1992 if you want to, but your maintenance problems are they're gonna come on to you pretty quick, I
Let me,
think.
let me put it this way to answer the question. 90% of our fleet have 2017s or newer. We have three guys that had a 2008, a 2010, and a 12. All three were broke down this week.
Actually, it's a 16, babe.
Who's that?
Ricky.
Ricky. Yeah.
There's another question.
No, I wouldn't do cars. You're going to fail. You definitely go out of business, man. Unless you have a serious contract. The question is with insurance and everything, the cars are just, there's no money in them, man. Unless you got like a 9-car hauler
I
and
was
a
just gonna say that.
556 period. Yeah.
Yeah,
Then,
I was gonna
and
say the same
like here
thing.
in Florida, they're flooded with car haulers, man, because it's all flat. Because you're not going to pull them things with a dually up over the Smokies and the Rockies and stuff. You're not going to do it.
And I have something to add to that. If you're getting into car hauling and not freight, and you have questions about car hauling, you see that guy right there,
Yeah, call Matt.
right there. You see
I'll be right back,
that
guys.
sign right there? CTS that had 17 stingers. His name is Ty Thompson and my buddy Jay. You guys should check their show at 8 o'clock every Tuesday night because they got everything car hauling, and they will tell you that the insurance is going to be a bitch for three car haulers. But it's not that you can't do it; it's still going to be terrible. But you need to call Ty and Jay and watch their show, right? Go to that neck of the woods if you're going to jump in. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I agree for sure.
Don Fuller says 72% at Blue Star with their own trailer. That's a lot. Well, I mean, unless they have good freight and you're making good money, then it is. I thank you guys, and Shaggy, appreciate your channel, brother. Thank you. Dude, these guys come on not only to promote their business, so you guys know they're out there and they're making money and there's people willing to work for you, but at the same time, they want to educate the rest of the guys not to jump into this half-ass because it's not easy, right, Chuck?
Right, it's not easy. And let me throw this caveat out
Go
there
ahead.
to you. Hey,
Fair enough.
these guys that are trying to go out there and they're trying to dispatch their own stuff while they're rolling at the same time, that's just nonsense. You're not, you cannot effectively drive a truck, run the compliance, run everything, and dispatch your truck while you're driving. The money's not going to be there. So that's where a lot of our guys are failing, is they're trying to do everything because they get this quick, rich scam that they see on all these channels, and it doesn't work that way. Dispatching for yourself while you're driving is nonsense. It
and
doesn't even
dangerous.
make sense.
Those guys are, they're out there looking at the load boards while they're trying to get that last load done.
It's silly.
They are. I would agree with that a lot. And I'm not on here just to promote my company and my brand. I really do want to try to get some of these guys that just, man, they're so clueless. They're just, it's messing things up, man. Hotshot's part of what's driving the rate down all the way around, But now the brokers got savvy, man. Shaggy, I really think everybody doesn't realize how big of a market share Hotshot has taken in the last 3 years. We've taken a huge part of the market, man. And they're driving the rates down, and the brokers are putting everything as a partial now. And I'm sure Chuck sees this too. 30-foot, 40-foot low. Well, you see, it's a partial. I tell, if it's somebody I'm not set up with, I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind? A 30-some foot low. I tell them, and I just hang up on them. I'm not even kidding because it's ridiculous. You know what I mean?
My wife got mad at me the other day for doing that.
Who's this load
Remember,
with?
because they don't always have cheap freight in every place. You have to learn to build a network, right, Chuck?
Right.
Even though you're mad at that one guy now, what about the other 15 guys that work in there and have 15 customers that aren't that one?
Yeah.
Regardless, what if that guy didn't really had more money in that load, and the customer really wanted assets with the hot shots to haul it, but you got mad over the cheap freight because you didn't ask the right questions because you let your head bubble up, and you could have calmed down and found the right questions from that guy, Chuck, and went and got the freight yourself.
Yep.
What about it? Right, Chuck?
Right. And a lot of it is like he was talking. Both of you guys had mentioned it. The actual terminology is what's killing a lot of guys. They have no clue what the difference between a partial, what a LTL is, what a TL is, and until they're schooled on that and they understand that a LTL is a half a trailer or more, right? I mean, honestly,
You're very right. You're very right.
And a partial is less than that. So if you're at a hot shot and you can only weight 20,000 pounds, and you got a load on there that says partial is 16,000, and you're taking it for 85 cents a mile, you're stupid.
You're an idiot. You're part of the problem.
I'm sorry.
There you go, Frank's. Michael's confused on your comment, Chuck. Why not Shaggy teaches self-dispatch? Is there a difference between self-dispatch and driving while you're dispatching? What were you meaning?
There is a big difference in self-dispatching. I can self-dispatch right here in my office all day long. I do it every day. But I can't go out there on the road and do it while I'm sitting in a parking lot or while I'm driving down the road. Here's why you're not effective. Is your compliance all up to date? Do you have somebody taking care of all this stuff? Because if you're going to make money in the hot shotting business, you better be out on the road for 14 days at a time, or you're not going to make no money, or you're not going to make good money. Why be in a business if you're not going to make any money? Because while I'm sitting in that truck stop trying to book my load, I'm losing money. My wheels aren't turning. My bills aren't getting paid. So here I am trying to book my own stuff. It doesn't make sense. I tried it. It doesn't work. I'm sorry. I mean, I'd like to say that it does. I self-dispatch for all my guys. I don't pay out an additional 8% to a dispatching company. They don't pay out to a dispatching company. Their 20% that I get is
You're
for
the
their dispatching
dispatcher of
fee.
your own company.
Right.
Yes.
I think like he's saying, man, and the big thing is with telling these guys to lease on to somebody, a qualified company, not some dummy off of Facebook. Not that I'm saying there's a lot out there, but like me or you, he seems to have his stuff together. It's like I said, on average, they're paying me $500 a week across the fleet. Now I have some guys they grind. I'm making $800 off them, $300 off this guy, but the median is about $500 a week. So for $500 a week, you got compliance, you got dispatch, you got pre-planning, you got payroll. I pay for factoring. Your money's deposited next day. You know what I mean? We handle all
Safety,
the problems. Plus,
compliance.
I have access to customers and brokers and agents and freight that you're never going to get anyway. So what's that? Is five? You know, what's worth 500? You know what's worth it? Are you going to dispatch yourself? You're not going to have the access to the loads I have. Do you have a compliance guy? Are you able to manage all of those tasks and drive a truck for $500? I'd pay somebody to do it. I did it when I drove my own truck before my wife handled it for me. And I tell you what, I'd pay somebody $500 a week to handle all that in a minute because you can't do it all. You can't pay a drug consortium, a dispatch company, you know, somebody to pre-plan you, a compliance company, and all that, and drive down the road, and you're going to pay way more than $500. You know what I mean? Because we pay a compliance company, everything else to do this stuff for us, drug consortium, you know. And if we were paying a dispatch company, we'd probably pay who knows what. I mean, one truck, all that stuff for one truck, you probably pay $600, $700, $800 a week.
I can't believe we're still on here at like 10:30 at night Eastern time, and there's still 45 people listening to you guys about hotshotting.
Yeah, LTL less than truckload. Yeah, I mean that's what Chuck. We should probably just stop saying hot shot when we talk about it. We should say, "Oh, we're an LTL."
What is LTL? Is LTL for hotshot?
We missed the first question. I don't know if we answered it, but
What's that?
the one right before that.
This one? There you go.
Yeah, it's hot shot freight. Hot shot freight is the same freight as regular freight, so yeah, of course it's down. We're hauling the same stuff big trucks are, man. That's what I don't think everybody understands. They think we're some kind of specialty thing, but we're hauling that. We're picking up at the same places, hauling the same stuff you guys are. There's no difference. The only difference is we're hauling a little bit of stuff. You guys are hauling a lot of it.
Dang, everybody crawls out of the woodwork tonight, man. Frank goes to bed and another Nashville guy jumps up. What's up, John? It's a hot topic. Hold on. Well, I'm from South Texas. This is news for us. What's news for you? Breaks down, hot shotting is up. If you want to grow your, here you go, Teresa. This is Bob Cook. This is Bob's wife right here. Aaron, remember you met Bob at the truck show in Tampa? Bob Cook, the compliance guy.
Yeah. He's gonna be.
This is his wife. This is his wife. Well, that's not his wife, the dog, but that's his wife. If you want to grow, you are going to need help. And we don't all have
I'm trying to
partners.
get the wife to release some money so I can pay him to do our compliance for us.
I tell you what,
let it go through.
I use the cooks, and I tell you what, they do an awesome job for us. All of our guys.
I know it's like it's funny because
Hands
Teresa's
down,
on
go
here.
through them.
Yeah,
you've been
Teresa's
using
the
them for a while?
bomb.
Yeah, we've been using them since day one. I actually, no, not day one. Sorry, I used Foley first, and I think I called Shaggy and said, "Hey, I'm using this company called Foley."
Oh my God! Stop cussing in my ears. My head fucking hurts. Oh my God!
He told me, "No, you need to call somebody else."
Anybody but
I
Foley's.
ended
Oh
up
my
calling
God!
Bob.
That's like
talking to
saying.
Bob.
That's like
Well,
saying the word. That's like almost saying the word that he said earlier, but I'm not allowed to say it because they might be listening and sue me for saying it about his factory company. But I can't say it because they suck so bad that they have lawyers all over Facebook and they'll try to prosecute you for saying their name. Even
I'm
though
not
he
saying there was
likes them,
nothing
which
wrong
is
with
okay.
Foley.
Even though he likes them, it's okay. You know what I mean?
I moderately like them. I tolerate them, is the way I
Oh my
would say.
God! But I can't say their name. I can say Thunder Funding all day long. See that Thunder?
Yeah.
Thunder. I can
But
say them.
that's awesome. That's a good plug for the cooks then, because that's even more of a certified stamp. I was already ready to go with
Oh
that.
yeah.
Yeah, hands down, man, hands down.
Back when I first started
Easy
using
to
them.
work with.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Do you use them for the orientation and everything?
I use them for everything. They get when I bring somebody on, the very first step we make, the very first call I make when somebody calls me is Angela calls directly to Teresa or Bob, and they get put right in the system right then. He takes care of everything,
Awesome.
the drug consortium, the backgrounds, everything. They do it all.
Awesome. Awesome.
I'm actually a hotshot driver. Sebastian says I'm actually a hotshot driver for Texas. I do everything myself, and brokers being the middleman takes most of my money.
It depends on how your negotiation skills. I'll help you with one thing right now. When you call, don't say if that load's paying 1,000. Hey, can you do it for 1,500? Say I got a guy over there. We're set up with you already. I can do it for 1,500. You want to do it or not? That little switch will help you get 1,250. Whatever you want out of that load, always ask for more because they're reading off a script and they're going to beat you up. They're going to cut it in half automatically. That's what they're trained to do. So it's all in your negotiation skills. And then as you progress, like we've been at it 4 years now, sometimes I call, tell them my rate. They don't even negotiate with me because they know I'm going to beat them up. I'm like, hey, you can get some dummy off the load board to do it, or you can work with a reliable carrier that you've already worked with X amount of times. We're set up with almost everybody, man. We've filled out thousands of
She
packages
said
over
she's
the
got
years.
Bob cooking. She ain't got Bob cooking. I called that motherfucker earlier tonight. He was at the gambling, playing at the casino, fucking gambling. Shit.
But yeah, just it's all
Playing
how you
poker,
negotiate and then get
blackjack,
you
or
some
something.
customers. Get you some customers, man.
Yeah, and the key is don't ever agree to the freight that's on that load board because I promise you they're going to rape you on it.
Yep. And I tell you what, stop calling on the low boards. Get set up with CH, Landstar, some of these guys, and
Who
get on
else?
their email list. Get somebody working for you. Get them emailing you every day. We got a girl at CH. I love her to death, man. We get a lot of stuff from her, and she don't email me crap. She emails me some good stuff. You know.
We use a guy Justin off of CH Robertson.
They have a flatbed team that if you're any good, they're going to put you on it. And especially if you have multiple trucks, they're going to put you on it automatically. And I mean, I'm sure they know somebody from 15 years ago that's ahead of me that they're emailing first. You know,
Yeah.
that's the way it's going to work. It's a tiered
Is that
system,
like
guys. I
that
mean,
broker
if
network
your
thing I talk
relationship,
about at my boot camp there, Chuck?
Yeah.
Building a network so you don't have to use the load boards.
I tell you what,
I did a
I
video
get
on
tons
that.
of
Yeah.
emails all day long. Phones blowing up all day long.
My email looks like load boards. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's just that's the way it goes after you get
Yeah.
going.
How much
And
of that's on the
if
load
it's
boards,
not doing
though?
that,
How much of the
you're gonna
emails
have a
actually
problem.
ever make it to the load boards?
You won't see none of those loads on the load boards. They're gone before they don't need it.
I
They
would
don't need it.
say more than 50%. I don't know the exact number. I'd say 50 to 60 at least, maybe more of our loads come off of emails and never come off the load boards.
Right.
You know, especially in some areas I don't have, any brokers or anybody that moves anything out of that area, but definitely the majority of the places I send my guys, I'm doing stuff that with people that I know. I like the people with CH and different, Landstar, King of Freight, a couple ones. I'm on the phone with them every morning. Hey, this is where my trucks are. I send them a list of where my guys are at. They send me a list of what they've got, or they automatically send me a list of what they've got all over the country. You know.
Yep.
Alicia says, "Me too. Yep, me too. But I'm on their list. But I need owner operators.
Yeah, we
Jeez,
all do.
you need more than that, Alicia. You need to stop using a dispatcher service and take control of your business and run it yourself. Then you'll get owner operators, right, guys?
Well, it just depends on if that dispatcher has some customers and can do more for her. If not, I would get somebody else for sure. But if that, say for instance, that dispatcher had directs with carrier and train in San Antonio and Stuttgart, Lennox and Stuttgart, Arkansas, North Carolina, and all these places, and you could just bump around doing AC units, you're not going to get that right off the bat unless you know somebody. You know what I mean?
Cool. All right,
Or you
guys.
prove yourself.
You guys got 2 minutes because at 10:30 it's 2.5 hours, well, a little less, and I'm cutting the show off. So you guys,
It's been great, man. I want to do it again.
we will
It's been
do it
awesome.
again. I
Hey, I
told
want
you
to
guys
connect with
once
you,
a
man. I don't
month
think
I'm
we
going to
met
call
this
Chuck
stuff.
and Aaron and have you two come back on, and we're going to have a freaking hotshot segment, and you guys we'll tell everybody ahead. I'll boost it out there again, and we've had a lot of people. We were almost 80 to 90 people here when you guys first came on. So we're going to
Yeah.
keep ripping it out there.
Follow
So
me,
people, we can cater
Instagram.
these guys because they're going to keep getting influenced by these guys, And then you guys, whatever you guys do with your helping these guys, we need to be able to help all forms of the industry. You know what I mean? Like I can help them get customers. I can teach them about the maths. I mean, you guys heard me already. You've been to my boot camp. Shit, I know where every fabricating place is. But if they don't get out there and do it themselves, what's going to happen?
Right. That's when I came in, man. You go up to a guy at a gas pump and he tell you piss off. Then it's like there was a competition thing. Nobody wanted to tell you nothing. I want to train some of these people and help them, man, because I see them going out of business every day. They're ruining their credit, their livelihood. They're going bankrupt. I feel, in some ways, I feel bad. It's just because they didn't know enough. In some ways, it's just because they're ignorant and they're not nice people and they don't want to ask for questions or try, or they've been doing it and they don't have a good personality. They don't get customers, whatever. But a lot of people call me, man. They seem like really good people. A lot of young people too doing this stuff in their 30s,
Dude,
20s. They get a truck.
I just like having a show where I don't have to talk about trucking for once. I can let you guys come on and do it because you're actually experiencing it right now. I haven't had my trucking company for 2 years when I had 18 trucks. It makes a lot of difference when you're out there banging it out right now in the freaking trenches, fucking with your knife out,
Yeah,
fighting for everything you get. And then, there's a difference too because people are out there listening to guys that have one truck, one hotshot. They're telling them
that's
to give them
bullshit.
advice until you go to sleep at night with a wife or husband or whatever, or owner of a company, and you have more than one mouth to feed,
Yeah,
it changes the
it's a
whole
whole
fucking
different
game.
deal, man. When you
You
take
just
that
want
when you
that
take
stuff
that
gone.
revenue, you start handing 1099s out for 200,000 a truck each year or 6 months. And there were guys really. I had one guy do 200,000 in almost 6 months. I don't know how he did it, but he was grinding his butt off, man. But we're doing a lot in revenue, and you talk to a lot of people, a lot of customers. I've seen it all. I've been through a lot of bad situations too. You deal with that many people, you're gonna have people pissed off somewhere. So it's good to have that knowledge.
It is, man, because when these guys are out here putting all this stuff and falling for these broker schools and dispatch training places and start up your hot shots, come work for me. A lot of these people don't even know what it's like to be even, you know, if I they don't know what it's like to duplicate a product and have to, like I teach in the classes, and have to survive and provide for income for people's families and get them to do it and listen. It's a very hard game.
There's a lot of guys out there, guys, that are starting these businesses, and they're on Facebook, and they're on YouTube and wherever else they're at.
Instagram, Twitter,
But they're
TikTok.
not they're not out there they're not out there doing it. You got to be out there to do it, and you got to be out there to do it right. So
Yep.
when my guys call me and they tell me about a situation they're having, I've probably already had it,
Yep.
and I'm visualizing everything they're telling me. Yeah, I'm
Or if
like,
you haven't
okay,
had it, you're going to
yeah,
experience it. That's for
no,
damn
but
sure.
then the first thing they do, these guys don't know how to handle it. They're like, well, you just hurry up, you can make it. No, there's a difference. You got to know what's out there. You got to know what they're going to go through, and you got
Yep.
to be able to help them. If you can't
If
help your
not,
guys get through a situation, it's going to turn into a bad situation real quick.
well,
I've
if
seen
not,
it
it's going to
happen.
be your livelihood anyway. So it don't matter.
That's why I tell
Right.
all my guys, man,
So
we
if you
put
haven't
all these
experienced it,
policies
you're
in
getting ready
places to
to.
take pictures and everything else of every load when they pick it up and drop it off. Because let me tell you, I tell them as soon as they come on, if you're accident, whatever it is, get your phone out instantly. Get the driver, get whoever, get the freight. Because let me tell you, everybody everywhere, and it sucks to think like this. You don't want to have a negative attitude, but everybody everywhere is trying to screw you at some point in this game. I don't care if it's the broker, the customer, the shipper, the forklift driver putting it on the truck. Somebody somewhere is trying to screw you. So it's about plugging those holes and making sure that doesn't happen, man. And you might do that and have policies in place, the pictures, everything else, and then 99% of the time it never happens. People are good. You run into a lot of good people, but it's that one guy that you wasn't
Only
looking
takes
for that
one.
one time that'll screw you. I just here's an example. I had a guy, and if he sees this, he's going to hate me for this. I'm not going to put his name on there. One of the guys that works for me, and we had a situation where he had a tarp load. The condensation gets underneath of it. Well, they said, hey, this thing got wet. Here's the pictures, blah, blah, blah. I said, no, man, we got pictures of this thing tarped on the pickup and on delivery. No problem, buddy. I'll send them over, right? So I called, and this guy sent pictures, like the best in the fleet sending pictures, right? The guy said, okay, send them over. I'll make sure there's no problem. I said, no problem. I called my guy, hey, send me those pictures. Uh, I'm like, you sent them yesterday, and you sent them every other day after that. This is the one time you're telling me. He was like, I'm going to send them right away. Didn't send them. He didn't have them. He forgot to take them. I don't know why. The one time he didn't take them, we had a problem that almost turned into a claim. We smoothed it over, and it didn't. But this guy literally took pictures. 99 loads that he did. That one load he didn't take pictures of, we had an issue with. You know what I
But
mean?
you know what, and it's might be because I'm young into this business, so to speak. But guess what? If I have a driver, and they'll tell you today, right now, if you call them, if they leave that lot without taking a picture, they're pulling over. I don't care where they're at.
Yeah.
I call them. If I know they're getting loaded and 20 minutes later, I'm like, why haven't I got a picture? I call them. What are you doing? Well, I'm driving. Take your ass, pull over, and get me a picture now.
Yeah,
Because I
I
want that
make them
picture.
do it.
I
I
know
make them
because he's
do it at
gonna
the
post it.
facility.
I remember he's gonna post it on his Google, his website, his Facebook. Plus,
Yeah.
he's gonna keep it for notes.
Right.
Exactly. Plus,
We
I
keep
have a
them for claim.
database of every load we take, and there's a reason why. Not only because Angela enjoys to post them and gives her something to do, but guess
Oh,
what?
you like it too? Don't
It per-
lie.
it protects my company just the same.
It does.
Let me
We
tell you
talked
what we
about
do.
So
that in
We
boot
do.
camp, didn't we?
I make them do 10 pictures on the front end of pickup, especially if it's tarped and untarped of the whole commodity, with the facility in the background on pickup and delivery. If they don't send them in, they don't get paid. And I've
Remember
had
us
guys
talking
already,
about all the
already left.
scenarios of boot
I,
camp, Chuck?
I dock
yeah,
them like 50 bucks the
Why
first
do you
time. The
take
second time I
pictures?
dock them 100.
Why do you take pictures? It's called CYA.
Claim,
yeah, it's cover your
claim.
ass. You're right.
Because
Oh,
why?
dude, I
You
could.
know, there's
You
so
guys
much
think you're
fraud out
new?
there,
I
man.
got both of you beat. If I told you about all the stuff, we'd be here for another 2.5 hour show of
I've
why you
had
should take
situations
pictures.
where if I didn't take pictures, they called me to put a claim on my insurance. That's why they called me to pick that load up off the load board. Because some other guy dropped it off and they had a problem. They were going to do a fraud claim on me, but I had pictures and it didn't happen. But they
I got better
intentionally
ones than
called
that.
me to do it.
I guarantee I got better ones than that.
You know? So, I mean, I've been through it all, man. I've seen it. I mean, there's just so many out there. There's so much fraudulent crap going on. That's why our rates are so high and
We could
stuff.
do. We're gonna do a whole.
Yeah,
We could do a whole show on fraud.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
crazy, man. But, you know, as you get more people, you'll see you got to
You have about
have to start docking
100,000 loads, and probably 5,000 of those are fraud or claims or stuff that gets messed up. It's crazy, man.
It's insane, man. I think Progressive said they had what, like 130% fraud this year, claims paid out or something, some crazy shit. They lost money this year.
That's a compliment, man. Juan Torres says, "Shit, Brony. Still, I would stay online 2 more hours." I'll always see you take pictures and not. No, we could. And if we, what's funny is I haven't allowed anybody to get really into the deep stuff. I wanted to really, if I would love to get in and break down why companies need to diversify and all the numbers that are involved and why brokers have to know about the numbers of carriers and do all that stuff publicly. But unfortunately, those people that you talk to about on YouTube and all those other channels would take that and run, and they have no experience or no knowledge of all the experiences where those numbers come from and why it's important. They would use it to their advantage just to screw more people over.
Yeah. One of the number one guys on YouTube has no CDL doing Hotshot with no numbers, and he's got millions of views, man. I want to beat that guy because I want to be the guy that knows what he's doing it legal,
Don
right,
Fuller
moral, and
says
ethical,
straight
making
deck or
money.
mega ramps.
Mega ramps. I used to do the straight deck ones, and I had them. But the problem we ran into is when you want to pick up a dump truck or whatever, something heavy, you can't put them on those little light pull-out ramps, the ramps bit. If you want to pick up a bulldozer, a backhoe, even a heavy bobcat that weighs
A
like
small
15,000,
forklift.
one of the bigger ones, you can't
Yeah.
do it.
What'd you say, Chuck?
A small forklift, a scissor lift. If you don't have mega ramps, you ain't picking them up.
No.
So
Yeah,
those,
mega ramps are the way to go all the way around.
yeah, yeah.
See, we got any more questions? Which I'm trying to shut it down, man. I guess we're gonna go 3 hours. There's 30 people still on here, man. They're like freaking piling in.
They're
We'll put
just
your
now
phone
getting
number.
home, or they're just getting to a truck stop somewhere.
I know, isn't
Yeah,
that funny?
that's good, man. I want to
And
keep
then
them
you
up.
guys know the video I just got shared like 50 times, so it's gonna be playing over and over. So I don't know. I think we're at like 3,000 views or some shit like that already in three
Follow
hours.
Instagram, Facebook, the trucking guy, Money Penny Trucking, YouTube, all that
There's your
stuff.
guys' phone number, man. There's Aaron Moneypenny right there. You guys want to talk to him. You guys want to ask questions. You want to place the lease on. And then here's my buddy Chuck and Angie. Walk is crazy as he's been in my stuff twice. He's been in my stuff once. So, and they're all using some of our partners and stuff. So, I mean, these guys came from our schools, did and different things.
Yep.
So, and they're still in business. Isn't that weird?
I'd probably be out of business
Weird.
right now if I hadn't met Shaggy, to be honest.
Yeah, you're pretty fucked up when I called you. I had to kick him in the balls. And I've given you owner operators and helped you too, right? And people to work
We've had
whenever you
at least
needed it.
4 or 5 people come on from you, and one of them still with me.
Yeah, I've got away from recommended people because every time I do, somebody don't hold their own, and I don't want to. Only thing I can do is back up what I can do, and I'm
We
tired
haven't
of
had a problem.
people not.
The only reason a couple of the guys left was not anything that, I mean, we were both
No,
happy.
they haven't
One of them
complained.
had a military thing. He had a disability, so he couldn't work and draw that. At the same time, dude, I was crying when he left. He was my best guy, grinder, man. Guy made like 8,000 a week for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks
You
and weeks.
know, if I could think about how long we've been doing this, how many like complaints I've actually had on anybody, it's been maybe 15 that I know of. You know, like if there's people out there complaining about what we're doing or what we're putting out there, obviously it's because they didn't have the money or they didn't do the fucking work. That's about
Yeah.
it. Because like I could come to Chuck's company tomorrow and spend time with him and Angie, Oklahoma City, and I bet you $100, $1,000 that if I wanted to, I'd leave that company with an extra 10 owner operators because I know how to do it. But I'm going to come in and do the work. You're not going
Right.
to do the networking, build the relationships. It's going to be you do the training or the research, whether you want to have somebody train you or you do the research. Then you got to build the network. If you don't have a network of partners or a network of people to help you, whether it's your wife or somebody, then you're not going to survive. Then once the network's in place, you have to build the relationships, whether low boards and customers and brokers that are relationship style brokers. There's three different kinds. Then you have to have multiple streams of income because you can't rely on what you are just the company trucks, can you, Chuck?
No.
Nope.
You have to have those multiple streams of income. You look at these big carriers that are 300 and 400 owner our company trucks going out of business right now. Everybody's blaming trucks, Trump, and all this stuff that's going on. But look at these carriers that are 300 and 400 reefer carriers, the ones that have been posted all over the place. They don't have any diversity at all. Is that why they went out of business?
I would agree.
I mean, you can only have so many company trucks when no one wants to drive for them. Everybody
I've been
wants to own
watching.
their own shit.
I've been watching that one guy, and he had some that he posts, and it's like, oh, they're going out of business. But the guy that owned it was old, and he was tired. He'd been in it like 80 years. That don't really count as just going out of business.
Not even that. Look at their MC number. Look at their company model. Look at the ads they had. They're all company.
Yeah.
Or even if it's a company, imagine a company with 250 company trucks and only 40 owner operators. You know that guy, if he has 250 company trucks, he better have at least 500 owner operators, or he's not going to survive. You've got to have that diversity, or you got to have customer freight feeding you, and you know they don't have that.
Yeah. I'd like to ask you, Chuck, with the company truck thing, we started moving away from it and going all owner operator, and I had a bunch of them. New trucks and everything. It was just tough to keep guys in them, man. They kept bringing my stuff back all messed up, broken windows, everything else, man, missing mirrors, scratched up, brand new trucks, and it was pissing me off. I started getting rid of
I
them.
have zero.
Zero. See, I hired guys military. I hired older guys. I hired guys that had 20, 30 years experience.
Yeah, but see, you already have a structure that's solid as snot from what not only my camp and Bob too, right, Chuck?
Right.
Like they do it. He's still getting there. If you don't have the structure of 1 to 5, like you're going into the military when you start, right? How does that lay over into the dispatching, Chuck?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really understand the after having so many owner operators. I don't understand why I would want to go with
company
owner
truck.
operator with a company truck unless I was in with, like you said, a company that was going to guarantee to feed me a bunch of freight. Then I would think about doing it. But right now, no, I won't do it. And I'm gonna let my 2020 set out in the driveway, and I'm not putting nobody in
Of
it.
all night long, we've been on here. One guy just comes up and says, out of nowhere, one guy, right before we shut off, we got our Rambo warrior, Rob Amos.
These guys are so full of shit. Okay, well, we live it every day, so
I know,
I
right?
am.
One guy right there, out of nowhere, last minute, he just found his truck stop parking lot. He got to go straight on there and talk. And no one in here is thrown out. Like you go through all the messages, no one said $4 a mile.
I'm gonna go over.
I know. No one said 250 a mile. No one said nothing. And then one fuck nut comes out and has to speak like that. You know what I mean?
I mean,
With
we
a
ain't getting
semi.
rich. I'm not gonna lie. This is not something. All you guys that are watching, you're not gonna get rich doing this. This is work, and it sucks. And there's a lot.
We're
of
not
moving
talking about
pieces.
getting rich, millions of
And
dollars.
some
But
days
anyway,
it's gonna be hard, and some days it's gonna be better than others. There's going to be ups and downs. Our job, and what I always tell my guys,
We're
is I
gonna
want
jump on Rob Amos' wagon and go get strike and go fight the government, park on the fucking federal lawn,
I
and
try to say,
I
man,
have
I
a
want the
question.
good days to outweigh the bad
Rob
days.
Amos is Rob Amos made a post there. What was that in his picture? Was that a big truck?
it was. I know we're talking about hot shots and
Yeah, we're
surviving
talking
as a
about hot
hot
shots
shot.
or big truck.
Hot.
Yeah.
Why is he
There it is,
worried
right
about
there
us?
for you.
He needs to go
What?
back to TA and go back to the lounge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably
We're
a
talking
company
about hot
cover.
shots.
Why even comment? You know, what's the point?
He ain't got nothing better to do. He can't circle jerk himself no more, so he's got to get on here and talk.
I've had so many situations when I drove the trucks in the truck stops. 99% of guys want to get into this. They like it. They like the idea of it. And there's that one guy that's like, "Oh, get a real truck. F you. You're taking our work and blah." It's stupid, man.
As he's in his sleep. I've never done hot
As
shots,
he's
so
in a reefer.
I can't bear with you. I haven't slept in the back seat.
That's the
I've
ones
always
I
had a
like.
bed with an APU and
Yeah.
like almost having controlled
Yeah,
air,
but you're
flat
like
screen on the wall.
bro.
I
You're
mean,
like
I don't know.
6'10".
I haven't had to
It wouldn't
sleep
be
like this.
uncomfortable if you were 6'10".
I'm 6'4".
Yeah.
I haven't had to hang my coats outside the window.
I'm like 5'9", 5'10".
I
I
know. I'm
stretched out. I was
6'4", so
comfortable,
like
man.
I don't have to like stretch my legs out the window and hang my coats on them and
Hey,
stuff
I
and
did,
throw my
dude. I took
laundry
my
while I'm
door panels
outside or I
off. I
walk
took
through
my
the city.
back seat out. I made a sleeper back there, and I was comfy, dude.
I understand.
TV, fridge, all that shit.
Yeah,
I took the
I got you
passenger
covered.
seat out, and
I
that was the
had that
company car
too, but
seat.
I
We were
stood
set up.
up. I had that too, but I stood up while I was cooking.
Okay, you got one thing on me. One thing. One
Hey, I'm
thing.
not gonna lie. Anybody that you get into hot shotting, it's going to be cramped conditions. You're not going to
If
get.
you set it up right, man. I was fine when I set up.
I mean, you're going to be okay. I have a nice little place, and I built it and got it. But you're still, it's not a sleeper. You're not
No,
you're not
you're
going to
right.
have you're not going to have a studio apartment behind your driver's seat.
Why
You
not?
can.
Like
Hey, you know what though? The guys that and you've seen them in the truck stops.
the
Shaggy, I don't know if he
conversions.
knows much about it, but the guys that are pulling the 48-foot with the
Oh yeah,
15K axles that are air ride with the
yeah,
450, 550 series trucks that have a legit sleeper, those are
right.
good little trucks, man.
Oh yeah,
Those are
yeah.
nice setups. I mean, they're 130 grand.
I was
If I
gonna
let you
say.
buy a semi, be smarter, but
I was
they're
gonna
making
say.
money. They got
Yeah.
generators, they got the APU, all that shit, man. Fridge, microwave.
Hey, I couldn't
This
do
guy.
it. I couldn't do it. I could not put my pillow in my one window and hang my feet out the other window. Frank's already still commenting. He's like, damn, they're still on. Holy shit. Midstream
Sleeper
singers.
freaks.
Well, guys, it's way late. Our crowd's going down. It's been really, really cool. So I'm kicking you out. Tell them where you're at one more time.
It's good. 402 Transport. We're in Oklahoma. If you need anything, call me. It don't have to be to sign on, but if you need any information that I can help you with, any insight, call me.
Bam, there it is, right there.
Aaron Moneypenny, going by the trucking guy on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, everywhere. Also, Moneypenny Trucking. Numbers posted. You can call me for any kind of consult. It's free. If you want to sign on, you guys holler at me. I'm going to be doing a bunch of positive stuff. I'm trying to get some real information out there that actually is what's really going on. I'm going to be bringing on some of my guys to talk on my stuff and get you guys some
Oh,
real
we'll bring some on here one
factual
night.
information.
We'll add some of you guys as well. I'll have you guys on individually so you're not cramming each other, Chuck. If you
No, this
guys want
was
to come
great,
on
man.
and you
I
can
love
find
having
some,
him on.
Yeah.
and we can send a link out to some of your drivers that are running, that are with you, and they can talk. I like having it
I
on,
can
man.
bring
I don't want
some
to
of
sit
my
here,
guys. You'll get a
dude.
kick
I don't
out of
want
it,
to
man.
sit here every night and talk about this is the way you properly go after a customer. This is the way you start up a trucking company. This is the way you don't get screwed by dispatch. This is the way you should dispatch. I like having you guys come on and talk about this stuff. You know what I mean? I love having students come on that have already been around a year and they're growing their business and they're moving in or they went after customers and they're not just hauling low board freight, man. It's freaking awesome.
Hey, Chuck, are you on there? Your 402 trucking or something like that on
I share
Facebook?
it
402
in my group all
Transport.
the time, you fuck nut.
402 Transport. I want to link up with you too, man, because I get stuff out of
Here,
Oklahoma all the time that I don't have a truck over there, so I could send it
look,
your way.
Aaron, it's right here, Aaron. Right there. That's his number.
I
Yeah.
can't see shit. It just
I don't
shows
see any
YouTube.
name or nothing.
Yeah.
What?
But
Oh,
It
it's
just shows
50.
YouTube pretty
It's five.
faces.
Here, write it down. What here? 580.
Well, I can't. My phone. You got it. I'll find it.
Well,
on
here,
Facebook.
this is here, Chuck. You can text Aaron because
Yeah, text me.
You don't know how to do that. His number, I'll put it 239 202 7885. And if you look up on Facebook, he's the trucking guy.
And Money Penny Trucking.
Juan says he's going to be bugging you tomorrow.
Yep, call me, man.
Well,
I'm
don't worry.
putting
Aaron's
a
in
guy
Florida,
on.
Juan.
I'm
Chuck
putting a
is in
guy on out of
Oklahoma.
Texas tomorrow. A new guy's coming on out of.
Tommy says,
Paso.
I had to sleep in the pastures. He's kept, man, you ever see that movie like Police Academy with Hightower? That would be me. Like, I'd be ripping that shit out. Like,
That's what we did. I pulled the passenger seat out. I just got your text, man. I pulled the passenger seat out, the back seats out of my company trucks, and that's how we rolled. And it was comfy.
I'm going to fix that one. You guys good?
Yep. Good to
You know, I
go.
like you a lot, but you guys need to get the fuck off my channel.
All right, brother. It was
But
fun.
Angie can
Peace
come
out. It was
on.
good,
Hey, I
man.
love the map back there too. Those maps are awesome. Look at that. Look at the maps on the wall. They, like totally, they're not as nice as mine, but they're getting there. Actually, I'm just kidding.
I got your map at the office.
That one's a little one.
I know. Where's the big one?
See security? See that
Oh
security
yeah,
station?
over there. Look at that. I love the dog. I love the office. There's a map. Look at that.
Man, your office is nice. Mine's just a little shithole,
Then there-
but it gets the job done.
Oh, look at that.
We
Maps
got a map
everywhere.
on every wall. So,
That's contagious.
yeah, we got.
So let's set a date. We'll do this again soon.
Oh, we will. In a couple of weeks, we'll hit it back. I'll send you guys a message and we'll do hot shotting again now that people know you're out here. We'll get it out. It was so much fun. Thank you for coming aboard and helping out and educating our followers, man. It's pretty cool.
It was good, Shaggy. Thanks for inviting us.
Use and
Yeah,
stuff like
thanks.
that. So that's definitely helping people out and getting it out there.
One thing I would like to know, Shaggy, if you got either one of y'all could help me out, I want to know who has the biggest hotshot fleet in the nation. Is there a way to find that out?
Well, if they do, they won't be around long because they'll probably end up committing suicide in the next
No,
4
there's a
months.
lot of big ones, man.
Fuck, I don't know, man. I don't pay attention to them. I am not. Do I look like a hot shotter? Hey, you
I just want
both
to know
can
how
come.
to find them, man.
Chuck, when Chuck first called me, he told me doing hot shotting. You probably say the same damn thing that I told you when you called me and said you're doing hot shotting. What the fuck are you doing in hot shotting?
Yeah, that's exactly what you said.
Why are you go? Remember, Chuck?
Yep.
You said,
I said to everybody, I'm like, what are you going to do if you can't make money? What are you going to diversify? How are you going to add owner operators? What are you going to get customers? If the customers are scarcer than what they are with the big ones, you're going to have to fight twice as hard to get them. Remember that?
Yep. That's funny. Sounded exactly like that.
I know. That's what I told him too. Hey, I'm not prejudiced. I equally share the beat down to all of you guys. You know what I mean? It's just you guys made it. A lot don't. If I told you how many people haven't made it,
I bet.
you'd be surprised. And I have a lot. I'm telling you. You know what I mean? I know a lot. I promise you, man. I'm over 2,000, 2,200 people this year just trained, and that's not the phone calls that I spend all the hours with. And if I told you all the people that are getting into hot shotting and box trucks that have not a clue of what they're getting into, and they don't understand about the work and the networking, and they go straight to the low boards, and by the time they figure out they're dead, you guys have no idea. And a lot of it's influenced by YouTube and other social media platforms where they're telling you, man, come to my video, watch my training, use my partners, and you'll get rich quick. And it doesn't work that way.
Nope.
So they need to get a hold of you guys. So you guys have a great night. Tell Angie I say I really do like to watch it. Isn't that one of those blue heeler looking dogs?
Yeah.
Oh, those are so pretty. I can tell from here.
Yeah, he's pretty much that's where he stays all day long. Unless we're on the road.
All right, fellas. Good night.
Later, guys.
Have a good one, guys. Thanks.
Yep.
Too.
All right, guys, for Shaggy's Consulting and Training, man, the Freedom to Learn movement. I appreciate you guys for coming on and checking in. I appreciate you guys making comments and talking. I thank you for allowing me to bring these guys on and lay out some really good information about hot shotting, the difficulties in hot shotting, and give you a chance to see some guys that are actually making it, man, like 8 and 10 trucks. He's at 11, and one guy in his first year getting to 6. To be able to have these guys come on and give you their hands-on experiences of what they're going through, how they're getting customers. Each one of these guys is each one of these guys is both of them are on the stage of getting brokers because they do half customer and half general freight off the boards. That's huge, and we have to always remember about networking and building relationships and diversity and all that good stuff like that. So that's the only way we're going to survive, to be able to network, build relationships, do the research, get the training, and be able to make multiple streams of income and always the mailbox money. I'm sorry that we're on so late tonight, which was really cool, kind of neat. I still have to go home and be back here at 9 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning to work. No, just kidding. It'll be a little later than that. So please keep sharing the group, letting people know we're out here putting out this killer information. It's not the media stuff like everybody else. I don't care about C.H. Robinson and $1 billion. I don't care about being the first guy on the scene. I don't care about getting the first news to you, but I care about you guys providing for your family. I care about you doing it right. I care about you getting safety and compliance and starting your authorities and being in business after 1 year. I care about you building a network. I care about all that stuff. That's what we care about. And yeah. I will tell Bob about Houston. We have Houston boot camp coming up. We always have one-on-ones available for you guys to get help that you need, and I'll jump down. We have the boot camp filling up really, really fast. There's about 15 spots left coming up in March. And then after that, we're going to have the one in Terre Haute. Then we got Virginia Beach. Then we got Denver with Penny Royston at Evil Sizer Processing. Then we're going to Syracuse. Then we'll be in Dallas. And we got the truck show coming up. It's just crazy what all is happening and how fast we're moving. So, it's really crazy. It's already almost 11 o'clock. I've been on this freaking thing for 3 hours because those two guys talk too much. And you guys have a really great night. Peace out. Thank you to all the people that helped me make this possible. Please share and invite to the group. Keep us going so we can bring more information to you every week.